I can't get my act together, kids. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Does everybody have their coffee? I'm running late. Can't get anything to work. I'm dropping everything. Good morning. I'd like to see everyone in chat today. How is everybody? How is everybody? I feel like I was just here. Literally this morning. Welcome back to another installment of the Unsolved Case of JonBenet Ramsey. We're going to be finishing up the interview today that the Zell brothers, Frank and Jim, did with J is for Justice. Good morning. Good morning, Robbie. Equal parts. Yeah. Can someone make me coffee too? I think I'm on cup 2, but I could definitely use some more, kids. I could definitely use some more, maybe an espresso. I don't know. So without further ado, we have some guests with us today and a regular. I'm gonna bring on Nikki and Frank. Hello, kids.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you, Amy? Hey, Nikki.
I'm doing good. Nick, you there? How's the weekend treating you, Frank? Is it all right? It's doing good.
It's always thrilling when somebody drops the Department of Justice.
Can't hear you, Frank.
You can't hear me. What is happening?
I can hear you, Frank. Maybe come out and back in, Nick. What were you saying? The Department of Justice? Okay.
Yeah, they dropped 3 million Epstein files. So.
Oh my God! And the names that were mentioned, Frank.
It's nonstop.
It's nonstop.
Yeah. So it's perfect timing for us.
On it? Right. What are your thoughts on what has come out in the past few days on that?
Well, like the most recent one, I forget when it was dropped, Friday or yesterday.
Yeah.
It's you got owners of football teams.
Yeah.
I know Stoughton, Massachusetts, and Sandra Birchmore have been mentioned.
Yes.
It's Britney Spears. I mean, I've seen Boulder, Colorado come up.
Oh my God.
It's funny to watch everybody speculate. Now, I understand they need to get their Twitter handles and all that news out there. It's like they're breaking news. All they're doing is reading the files. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. It is interesting. It wasn't okay. Allegedly, I don't know. I saw this somewhere that the guy from TMZ, Harvey Levin? He was mentioned too, and he's been a huge. Why do they need them out? Well, that why you didn't want them out? I speculate from that. I just want to preface this live by saying my thoughts are my thoughts, and I do not speak for the panel. I just want to put that out there. Do not take anything I say as fact. I thought a lot of the names were very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's just funny to watch people because now you have people they see a name and they automatically now, just because Epstein's tied to it, that person was involved in this, because now you got to put the work in and you got to prove it.
Right.
Just because Epstein was in Massachusetts doesn't mean he was part of a sex ring. It's interesting that he was in Stoughton, Massachusetts, but now you have to prove it. Now you got to put the work in, and that takes forever. And some people I don't think have the capabilities to do it, but I don't know. For all intents and purposes, this helps us because we did the work.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did.
So you want to know about sex rings that exist and we can prove it? There you go.
Right. And it's happening everywhere. And this is another thing too. So someone was basically, I was on someone's stream, then they were talking about how every name that was mentioned is definitely a PDF file and this, that, like, just because someone's associated or was in the same room with somebody does not make them the same. Now, do I think that birds of a feather flock together? I sure do. But not every name necessarily has to do with a sex ring. right? They
Correct.
just are right. So I think that's where people are kind of veering off and going a little rogue with the information. They're just like, they're all PDF files. It's like, well, no, you know.
A little rogue, but Trump even said it. He was like, "Hey, if we release everything, you're gonna have innocent people get hurt too." And it's just what you mentioned.
Yeah.
Just because their name, is in the same paragraph with Epstein for whatever reason, doesn't mean that they were doing anything bad.
Right.
Not every single name is involved in a sex ring. You're right, but yeah, it's amazing to watch the internet just go crazy with it. But.
Yeah, people are going so just the clickbait. And in any case, yeah, it'll be interesting how it unfolds. I mean, the fact that even these names came out, I was kind of shocked because I thought that they were just gonna steamroll everyone and be like, nothing to see here, but more came out, and I applauded that. But we'll see where it goes, if anywhere, right?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, if you're not going to make arrests, what's the point?
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Ain't that the truth? Yep.
But.
All right. Oh, we have a Nikki back. Hold on. Nikki, you there?
Hey.
Hey, girl.
Sorry, a little Sunday yeah. A little Sunday meltdown a little bit.
Oh my God,
Ames, were you able to hi Frank.
Hi, Nikki.
Were you able to post that, Amy, the link?
Yes. Oh, yes. So up at the top of the chat, you guys are going to see a link for a GoFundMe. There's a family in Epping, New Hampshire that desperately needs help to rebuild their life. They had a house fire, correct? If you want to kind of go into more detail.
So this is a very close family friend. One of my niece's best friends. And their house burnt down a couple days ago. They lost everything, including what we were told, all 3 dogs. Dexter, however, so they found Draco's body and they found Dozer's body. They have not found Dexter's body. So they think that he may have escaped. And so there's I've also been posting it on Facebook and stuff. So if you do live in like Epping, Raymond, Fremont, that area, just keep an eye out. It's on Granite State Recovery, the dog recovery. But yeah, my niece thinks that he might be under like some of the rubble. You know what I mean? Like, not sure.
Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah, but hopefully he did escape, and hopefully she does find him, because her dogs were her babies, almost like Kim's, like like not almost like Tonka and Jax. You know what I mean? Like, she loved those dogs, and
the family members.
Yeah, exactly. They lost everything, and the fire started. My nieces told me last night the fire started. I guess there was a pizza box on the stove, and one of the dogs tried to jump up to get the pizza box and accidentally turned on the stove.
Wow.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
God.
Fucking terrible. Yeah. So
scary.
Yeah. So if anybody, I mean, or doesn't have to be money. If you have because there's, I gotta get the clothing sizes, but Jocelyn's tiny. So, and I'm assuming they're all, I know the sister is 17. And then it's got.
Is there, just to clarify, is there a drop-off place? How would, if people can't give to the GoFundMe and they have clothing and things like that, is there a place?
If there if anybody can give anything, I will meet people. If they live in New England, to get whatever, if they want to donate.
Excellent.
Yeah, they got the Blue Cross. What is it? FEMA. They put them up in a hotel right now. But they're just
FEMA or whatever.
Yeah, they're devastated. Yeah, Red Cross. Whatever.
Red Cross.
They put them up. But yeah, very sad situation. Yeah, I guess.
For them.
Yeah, somebody called, saw, like a neighbor called and said, there's a fire across or wherever, and she said, I know that they have 3 dogs, so they're probably stuck inside. Yes, very sad. So,
yep. So the link is at the top of the chat, and you can actually go in too, and you can read about what went on, and
Yeah, I think that
if you live in
I
New
just
England.
literally found out last night how the fire started. But yeah, they've been looking for Dex, hoping that he is found and he's not like hurt and he's just petrified. Like I said to my niece, I said it's sad because he can't even come home. He's got no house to come home to. So you know what I mean?
Right.
So like, the neighbors and people are just keeping their eyes out. So I'm hoping he did make it out because I guess Steve saw a window that was busted open. So I'm hoping he broke through because he's a boxer pit mix.
From your lips to God's ears. Hopefully.
I'm praying. Yeah. So.
Right.
But yeah, that's it. Not to bring the room down even harder than what it already is. But
if we can help in any way for any reason, if anyone has, if you feel the need to want to go and help, there's the link to the GoFundMe at the top, and you can read more about the story there. If in trying to help this family rebuild their life, because that's tragic.
Yeah, I do know that W in Raymond is doing a band on the 20th. And so they're doing like raffles and stuff, and all the door cover charge, everything's going to Jocelyn and her mom and stepdad and sister.
Excellent.
So, yeah. Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, today on the show, we're going to wrap up this interview. We're going to try to wrap up this interview with the Zell brothers. We have Frank Zell here, and his brother Jim is also in this interview with Jay is for Justice. Go over there if you have not. Everyone, I know a lot of people know her channel Every Day with Jay. That's kind of her everyday channel, but she does do true crime stuff over on Jay is for Justice, and the Zell brothers go over on there, did a interview with her, and we have been following this, and then going forward, we're still going to obviously be doing more, but we're going to continue with this. Let's get started. Hold on, my son's tablet's looking loud. Hold on.
Frank, remember the information that you and I talked about? Well,
yes.
Do you maybe want to? No.
Wait, which information are you referring to exactly?
Like my autograph and stuff.
Oh yeah, I can talk about that.
I want one.
Go ahead, Frank. The floor is yours.
Well, it's just like the book is near completion, and hopefully it'll everything goes smoothly the rest of the way, and it comes out this fall. That's the plan. But yeah,
that's amazing.
It's almost done. So
that's so exciting.
About 10 days, yeah. Looking forward. It's going to be surreal to see it, but for me,
Frank said if I was a good girl, he would autograph it for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yay!
You'll get an autograph copy.
Yeah, let us know when it's for sale, and we'll promote it. Everyone should go out and read it, because this is the real deal information, in my opinion, surrounding Boulder, Colorado, and the horrible, tragic death of JonBenet Ramsey. That goes way deeper than any of us could have ever thought. Oh, hey, Amber, ATS News, good to see you.
Oh, Amber.
All right. Honey. Oh gosh, baby girl. All right, guys, I'm going to start this, and I'll be right back.
To leave anything out and have to pick and choose, because I feel like all of it's important. You know what I mean?
We're just trying to make sense. We just want it to make sense for your
Great job. So far, I think it's been very, very easy to understand.
It's up to you. You're the host. Jim, are you okay? Can you go on?
I mean, yeah, I can go on. But I mean, it's like we're just starting the beginning of looking at the church. So you're probably talking about, I don't know.
Well, you can keep going tonight a little bit more, and then we can do you can stop at another spot. Everybody's saying keep going. We want to hear it all.
Okay.
And then Aristocat said part 2 with questions. We're greedy.
I mean, because that's true. I'm sure a lot of people have questions about the information that was presented tonight.
Right.
I mean, before. So it's like, I don't, really, I don't know how to proceed. If we should just pause here, take questions, and then have a part 2.
Well, we could do that. We can kind of talk through what we went through tonight. I mean, if you guys want to go another hour, we can do that as well. So I'm open.
I think it's fair to your listeners to see if they have questions.
Okay. Questions there, but it has been a lot to absorb.
Yeah, I usually give a warning, when people ask us to come on, and because I said, look, it's 28 years, and at the symposium in Colorado for 6.5 hours nonstop, standing in front of a whiteboard. They only stopped me after 3 hours because they wanted to eat lunch.
I'm telling you, like, I could have you guys go, like someone said, have an all-nighter. Like, I would never ask you to do that. But I mean, literally, it's so fascinating that, and you guys, it just flows. You guys just do an excellent job of presenting it all. I don't have any questions, guys. I had the one question. And Nancy.
Okay.
Is sure. Nancy, what's her status today, if you know?
Unknown. She came forward. I can tell you the last thing she said to me, though. I can tell you that. Nancy came forward along with her therapist. I forget her first name. Last name was Biankowski. Biankowski, even she said that, they were treated terribly by the Boulder police. She had evidence that she wanted to present to them. They refused to look at it. And when they ended the investigation, Biankowski left town, Nancy left town. I have never heard from either one of them again. But right before she left, I was talking with her. And, she was just going off on the Boulder Police Department. And she told me, that's another thing. You got to be careful when you make promises, when you work cases like this. Because that's another thing now, or being, possibly right about a case, which we think we are. But when you make promises to people, that'll keep you going. But that's, that cuts both ways when you can't deliver. Anyway, she asked me, are you ever going to stop? And I said, no. I said, I'm not going to stop. And she said, promise me I will keep going. And she thanked me, hung up the phone again in 24 years.
Wow.
So,
here's another question. Amy C, she wants to know if you have ever had any threats to you or your families over this.
Early on in the case, I did. Going into the early 2000s, I did. It's the internet. I mean, you can see this stuff going on, like, I'm not a true crime follower per se. I'll watch the occasional trial if it interests me, but I'm more of an investigator. That's what we did with Ramsey. It's what we've done on other cases. When there were lulls in the Ramsey case, my brother and I worked other cases. So, and the cases we worked before Ramsey, that's what we.
You've done a good job.
Okay, so I have a question about this.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question about this. So you've been doing this for 3 decades, right? You're looking into it. The threats, were they coming from you? I mean, you don't have to answer anything you don't want to, but I'm just inquiring minds want to know. When you were being threatened, what, you don't have to say who, but was it like random, say, quote unquote internet people, or was it like Boulder people where they're like, shut up right now, or like was it things that you kind of side-eyed, like, oh my god, should I even be doing this, or was it like wackadoodles that inserted themselves, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, I would say for the most part it was people from the internet, and it was just like, just telling me to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of threats here and there. There was some email stuff. There was some phone calls, but I just disregarded because I didn't take. There was maybe one time.
What about the guy who tried to run you off the road? You and your sister.
I think I talk about it coming up.
Oh, okay.
That was the only time I took it seriously because I got warned beforehand to
Oh my God.
actually be careful on the road. strangely enough.
What?
Yeah.
And then of course, we
People
get
are so unhinged.
But you got Frank, you got warned by someone that
well, the attorney, Lee Hill, who represented
some
Nancy, he had it was like he got rear-ended, then his wife was, his wife and kids it happened to.
Jesus Christ.
And then he calls me up and he's like, hey
Right?
man, he goes, your name is now out there. Because I used to use fake names very, very early on when I was like
Not Francis.
being heavy-handed in my methods, let's say.
Right. I mean, that's understandable, though. I completely understandable. Yeah.
And then Lee told me, he goes, hey man, there's bad people who got your name somehow. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I said, I'm in New Jersey. I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? And he was telling me what happened to him, his family. And he was like, hey man, just be careful when you're driving, just look out. And it was like 3 days later.
I cannot. Oh my God.
We got drilled, and that left me banged up for like life, that accident. Suffered nerve damage in my neck.
Were they ever caught? Like, was it a hit and run type of situation, or did you
on an empty highway in the morning, sunny day?
Oh my God!
And the person, we were doing like 70, and that person, I mean, put it this way: when I got out of the car, the gas tank was in my back seat. That's how hard.
Oh my God!
Just blasted.
Frank. And look at you, the tenacity of you. You kept going.
Well, if you give into it,
yeah.
If you give into paranoia, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah, it's a fact.
Right. So it happened, and that was that.
Yeah, Frank's a little toughy. He might be short, but
that's right. Funny. I'm not short. 5'11".
A little scrapper, our Frank.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's not short.
No.
Come on, man. Technically, I am above average in height.
Well, I wouldn't say above average.
Right.
It is above. Right. What do you think? What do you think the average height is from? I'm going to type this in right now.
Dude,
Sorry.
I think it's 5'9". Listen, I'm an Amazonian for a woman. I'm 5'8". I'm extreme. I'm 6 feet in heels. Yeah.
I look like,
but like
Frank, you call me a dwarf. I look like a dwarf next to Amy.
Yeah, she does. Facts. Yeah.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this right now. Average height for a man.
It's like 5'9".
Amy nailed it, man. 5'9". I'm like 2 inches above average. Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what she said. Okay, go ahead. All right.
Put that to rest.
All right. All right.
You beat.
It's a lot.
Oh my God! I was gonna say something fresh, but I tried it.
All right.
Oh God, someone stop me. All right.
Here's another one. And I kind of answered it in chat. Oh,
I didn't answer the question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, there were threats. Typical stuff. People would send me emails. Knock it off or else, that type of stuff. I get kind of phone calls, stop looking at what you're looking at. But you don't know if they're crackpots on the internet. So I never took it seriously. There's only one time that I did. And this is around 2004. Now, I was doing a lot of crazy stuff. I don't recommend it to anybody. I'm not saying this was, but to get close to a case, we're two outsiders who were trying to burrow their way into a case. And, we did a pretty good job because we got as close to this case as you could without having a badge, I think, in certain areas. And in the beginning, it's not, we didn't line up all this information like in one day. It took 28 years. So there's a lot of dead ends that you run into that take weeks, months. You may be working a certain angle and it runs into a dead end and you wasted 16 months of your life. That's what Singular said. The whole the next, coming up with the next, how to move forward. But as you know, as we mentioned that as the singulars did not like our heavy-handedness in doing things, as they explained, they're like, look, you know, as they explained to us one time when they were mad at us, you know, we have ethics that we have to follow because we're authors. There's laws and ethics involved. And that's true. And the cops, you know, you take an oath and there's certain ethics and laws you have to abide by. My brother and I did not have to abide by any of that. We could do whatever we want. We weren't worried about ethics, especially early on. So, you know,
it always reminds me of the Untouchable scene. Mr. Neff, we don't approve of your methods.
yeah. In a way, yeah, because some of the stuff we did would get blown back on Steve.
Yep.
And not that he was working with us, it's because we touched on stuff that he wrote in his book. And
so they linked you?
No, they would think Steve was the one doing the stuff that we were doing.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Yep.
Steve would get the blowback. They got threatened all the time. And I told Steve, I said, look, in your book, you made a fatal mistake. You wrote about a city official. We know the name, you know the name, but you covered it up as you didn't, but the bad guys know you know. So when me and my brother and Ollie were doing investigations into the city official, somebody would always leak it back to individuals. And then Steve would get the threatening phone call. Or people would show up at his house.
Jesus.
Yeah, that type of stuff.
You guys were diving into some scary territory there.
Yeah, I mean, Boulder was a scary place. I mean,
As Steve and Joyce used to say, hey, you know, we live here, we got family here, you know.
Yeah,
it's like, you know,
that's a different world for him.
They're touching live wires and they're getting affected by it.
What did Steve say that one time? You know, when he was pissed off, he was like, you know, we got to do, you know, we're trying to do, you know, we're a brand. We do what we do. You know, this is why we can't work closely with you because you guys are like two wild cowboys. Which is kind of
you're like the Wild West.
Yeah, because we didn't care about ethics. So I would leverage people with information. Okay, I got this, you know, leverage. I don't want to use other words. I'll just use the word leverage, and you can let your imaginations run wild. Anything to get me closer was my motto, by any means necessary. And I did early on. That's how I got certain names from people. They may have had nothing to do with Ramsey. Hell, they had nothing to do with Boulder, but they had information on people in Boulder, and that's information I needed.
Right.
So you apply leverage, you get that information, you're another step forward. So I made some enemies early on. I don't do that anymore, but back then I did. And then so in the 2000s, I went by different names with some people. I used burner phones. But in 2004, I was looking into somebody. Not going to mention the name, so it doesn't matter. But case player, we'll just leave it at that. And Lee Hill calls me out of the blue, and he's panicked. And I'm like, what's the matter, Lee? He goes, Frank, your name got out there, man. I'm like, what do you mean my name got out there? He goes, there are bad people that know who you are. And he told me about, right before he left, you know, somebody messed with his brakes. His family were involved in these weird hit from behind car accidents.
Yeah, this is like some enterprise doing this kind of shit.
Yeah, so I'm like, Lee, man, stop. Don't get me paranoid. You know, I'm not gonna. You know, I've been threatened before. I blew it off. Nothing ever happened. So that's 2004. Now in 2004, I had arm surgery. Right. So my right arm was immobilized, and my sister says, "You want to go to church?" I'm like, "Well, I said, you want to take my car?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, you drive because I can't." So we're driving early in the morning on I-78 West in Jersey. Quiet highway. It's early in the morning on a Sunday. No traffic whatsoever. A car hits us from behind in excess of 110 miles an hour. I mean, and we were doing, you know, my sister drives pretty fast. They may have even gone 120. There was nobody on the road but us. Hit from behind, kind of similar to what happened to Lee and his family and girlfriend. The car was hit from the center left, like a fishtail. Thankfully, my sister was able to keep control of the car, and we didn't spin and then flip and roll. But the gas, I mean, we got hit so hard that my gas tank was in the backseat of my car.
Oh my God.
I mean, the person drilled us and then took off. It was a hit and run. Left me with injuries I still suffer from today. neck, bad neck injuries, nerve damage. And then
Scary
I called Lee.
stuff.
I told him, and then I called Lee afterwards and I said, "Hey, man," and he's like, "What's going on?" I go, "I got in a car accident." He goes, "No," and I'm like, "Yeah, I got hit from behind." He goes, "I told you, man. I told you your name got out."
Wild.
So I sent a message to certain individuals, and I used a biblical phrase in it that got the message across that, hey, man, I'm fair game, but not my family. My sister was in the car, so you got nothing to do with this. You want to talk it, just in case it wasn't an accident. That's the only time I ever took it seriously was 2004, and nothing's happened since. So that answers that question.
Gosh, that's scary though. You just never know.
Yeah, it happens.
I think that's it. Okay. I don't know if you'll know anything about this, but John Ramsey, he said that Lockheed was very supportive. They're wondering, did Lockheed provide him with an attorney? Did they protect him in any way? Do you know?
Well, that's funny. See, I forget the guy. Once again, Lee Hill. See, I have a nickname for Lee Hill. I call him the most interesting man in the world. Forget the beer commercial. It's Lee Hill. Anybody, he knows actors. He knows artists. He knows musicians. He has a story with all these people. It's like he knows everybody and anybody. He's a pretty charming guy. He just knows everybody. But with Lockheed, at one point, Lee and somebody he knew were trying to get Lockheed Martin's security, their phone records, to see if they called the Ramsey house. And Jane Harmer, who was a detective on the Ramsey case, botched that, prevented that from happening. That's how it was explained to me.
Interesting.
So we'll never know. Now, once again, John Ramsey, if you could have got John Ramsey's cell phone records, in a week, maybe there would have been something there instead of a year later and it's wiped clean.
That is insane.
We'll never know. If the FBI would have stepped in right away, all of this, the FBI would have solved this case in a week. Hell,
when did the FBI get involved?
They were in the background, but they never took control.
So they were just assisting Boulder if they asked for assistance type thing.
Exactly. Which they never
they really didn't ask for much assistance. Yeah.
And that shouldn't have been the case. The FBI should have assumed control immediately because of the ransom note itself. We are a foreign faction. John is the president of Access Graphics, a subsidiary of the largest defense contractor in the United States, whose daughter has been kidnapped. He could have been blackmailed. The FBI should have assumed control from day one, which they did not do. And they would have solved this case very quickly.
Now, here's the thing, though. Now, did Boulder say no thank you, or did Boulder hold them off at a distance?
No, it's like the FBI assisted, but it wasn't, that wasn't the point. Boulder should not have been in control of it at all.
And the reason I bring that up, because there's other cases that, you have towns that deal with corruption that have kept the FBI at bay, from assisting. Rex Huerman is one of them, where Burke said, no, thank you.
Well, they didn't kick him out of the town, but they didn't look.
But they just didn't utilize them like they could have.
Yeah. Now that you bring it up, this is another thing that Netflix thing avoided talking about. Linda Arndt making those phone calls. Once again, that led to the crime scene eventually being contaminated and destroyed, by John. And
did I wanted to make sure did he say Rex Huerman? Was he, when did you do this interview with Jay? I can't see the date.
Oh,
the year.
2024, sometime in 2024.
Is that the list guy that you're speaking of? Because that's the only name, that's the only person that popped in my head. I was like, Rex Huerman.
When they were looking, like the Rex Huerman thing, another case that should have been solved relatively quickly. There were strange things going on in that town, right? With the chief of police, who was a freak himself, last name of Burke.
He was in the pickle pox, yeah.
Yeah, he was going to these crazy sex parties. Anyway, Burke, he was the chief and he was controlling the investigation. He wouldn't let the FBI come in.
Wow.
And that was the delay. When that new cop took over, the black guy, man, and he was like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. He brought in everybody. And that's how they found Huerman, from the information they already had.
Wow.
Yes. They knew, right down to the color of his avalanche. It hit the size of him, everything. They had everything.
They had everything. Why he wasn't arrested, I would not be shocked, And then you have that that one affidavit from the woman who said that the cop brought her to a party and they picked up a prostitute who was one of the early victims.
Right.
And she goes, "Oh yeah, the cop. We went to this guy's house, and we were all partying there. Rex Heuermann, his wife, and then the cop said we had to leave. And I'm like, well, what about this girl we picked up? And and she's like, the cop just said, oh, she'll be all right. And meanwhile, they see her running outside the house screaming.
Yeah.
And then she becomes a victim. So, yeah, like Rex Heuermann was in that world, like, that bar in New York, that sex club bar where all the cops would go in New York City. Like, Heuermann was known to these people. So, I mean, there's a lot to that. But not my case.
Definitely.
So,
That case is fascinating, though. It's a bad man. Yeah. Very interesting. Hold on, I can't find what was. Here we go. Is that it? Nope, that's not it either. Can't get it together, kids. Cannot get it together.
We're professionals. Nobody
in the house after the body was found, all because they didn't want to send help. They aren't there out to hang out to dry. She was set up as a scapegoat. The other thing, January 3rd, 1997. So the body's found the 26th. 8 days in, right? What do the cops do? They remove the only detective with homicide experience.
And I was just going to bring him up.
Does that make sense to anybody?
No.
Ask yourself. You're trying to solve a murder in a town where there are no murders. You don't have a homicide division, but yet you have one cop who does have homicide experience, and he trained at Quantico.
Well, more importantly, who did they put on the case?
Well, but that's the thing. Then it was given over to Steve Thomas, who was a drug cop. But why remove Detective Larry Mason? They removed him on January 3rd, 1997, by lying about him.
You get too close to the truth?
No, they wanted him removed. And they got their wish by saying he was leaking to the tabloids. That was mentioned in the Netflix doc when they were showing clips of Thomas saying, oh, yeah, we may have leaked information as a tactic. That was Thomas and other people leaking it, not Larry Mason, not on January 3rd. And it got to the point that Larry Mason received a settlement from the Boulder Police Department for lying about him.
I just sent you that, Jay, about if you want to link that, Larry Mason getting a settlement.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and so you're going to start this investigation by removing your only homicide investigator and lying to do it. Ask yourselves why. Do you really want this case solved? Because that's a great way to prevent it from being solved. Leave one detective hanging while a crime scene is being contaminated beyond belief, and then remove the only homicide investigator you have and give it to inexperienced officers. These are decisions that were made deliberately. This isn't botched. This isn't ineptness. This was on purpose. These are clear decisions with disastrous results. And I think they wanted it to be disastrous because of what was going on in that town.
Terrible.
And possibly it connecting to this murder, and they just want it happening.
That pen was carried into the Ramsey home, already dead, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, because before I even found those poems, before that poem even came to me, and before I even knew that Steve had the Manchurian doll, I always operated under, I don't think, look, we don't think she died in the home. Hell, I don't think the Singulars, I don't even think Ollie thought that. And that
I know for a fact Ollie didn't. Yeah. That's one of the last things he said. He was looking outside the home and he was looking at the church.
And the only way for that to happen, you have to remember, this case is so screwed up because of decisions made by higher ups in Boulder. You can't trust anybody. I mean, so finds the body, removes things, moves from her mouth, destroys that area of the crime scene. He brings up Pat Endu, immediately jumps on the body, contaminating that even further. Make wonder and contaminates the body even further. Well, how about this? Time of death, man. That's like simple stuff, right?
Right.
Liver temperature, right? The what's the word I'm looking for? Jim, what's the word I'm looking for? Meyer.
What you talking the coroner?
Yeah, the coroner.
Yeah.
my decision at not to take it because like he said I was, but you have to take back.
How convenient. Like you get, oh my God.
Ames,
I understand it. I understand it. But since you didn't do it,
I don't know.
that left you with the only timeline to be given.
What's that?
It's a little choppy. I don't know if it's on my end.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's not. I mean, not terrible, but it is.
I pause it for a second. Can the chat confirm of whether or not the video is going in and out?
Yeah, it's to me on my end. Like it's like a little
It
choppy.
might be.
It could be me too. So
Okay. I mean, let me know if it continues.
yeah, I mean,
Given was the parents. You had to go by the parents.
this is clear. Okay, so yeah, it's
She
probably
died
me.
between 10 and 5 a.m. That's the parents' timeline. You couldn't even establish your own timeline. You have to so we don't trust anything anybody's saying. Since we think that John and Patsy were involved in some way, we think they're unreliable narrators. White and his group at his house for the party, because what White's been accused of, we now consider him an unreliable narrator. The DA's office and what they did leading up to this murder, they're unreliable narrators. The cops are unreliable narrators. You can't trust anybody in this case until you got to do your own digging and get your own information.
I have another question. Have you guys ever pulled any arrest records of any pedos for previous few years before the murders? Is that anything that you've ever researched into?
Have we pulled up paperwork for the cases?
Yeah, like have you looked into other people that were arrested in the prior years, like all the arrests?
Oh, Jerry Berry. I got his paperwork, down, the
Ballard,
Ballard, Downsboro, Berry, Slusher. Yeah, we need, and everybody else out there, feel free. Knock yourselves out.
Besides the cases that we uncovered, the town was filled with pedophiles that were on, that were on lists that the authorities were aware. I forgot the number of people that were on the watch list.
At the time, we never bothered to even look at the 200 people that were on the sex offender list in Boulder.
Yeah, those are just the ones that were caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the ones that were caught. I mean, we were looking at, but
Right.
I'm sure the Ballards were on the sex offender list. I'm sure Jerry Berry is. But there was just,
Is this environment still the same in Boulder today?
Good question.
I believe,
Sex
sadly,
clubs happening. We know that.
well, many years. So this was, I don't know. So it's Jim. When was that source came to us? When was that? About 2017 or something like that?
That was right before COVID, wasn't it? 2018. The guy, the Russian.
The Russian.
Yeah, the Russian. Yeah, the Russian.
We got a Russian in this too.
And then we got.
Well, we call him the Russian. Is we don't want to give his name.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I love
We
it.
call him the
The
Russian.
Russian.
I think it was about it might be 2017, 2018.
Yeah. So we, because we had been doing this so long that we became known in the town in certain areas. And they happened to be at a bar, and one guy started talking about things. And the guy he was talking to at the bar said, "Holy crap, man, that's crazy. How are you going to get out of this jam?" And the guy was like, "I don't know." And he's like, "I know 2 twin brothers that you should talk to in Jersey.
Yeah.
This is up their alley." So this guy in Boulder hears a story and kicks this guy to us. And the Russian then goes on to explain. Now remember, this is 2017 now.
This is pretty. Yeah, this is
Pretty
pretty
recent.
Yeah.
This is pretty recent. Now, to answer your question, are they tougher on pedophiles now? Yes. That has changed. It's not like the good old days under Hunter and Keenan when it was all like, "Hey, do what you want. We won't throw you in jail." So this Russian guy starts telling us that he belongs to an underground sex club in Boulder. And he's able to describe how it works. It's a computer. It's all done via computers.
Yep.
There's dance studios that are out front, and there are legitimate sex clubs in Boulder that are involved in it.
Ames, I'm in
Prostitution
an elevator right now, so
part
if
of
you
it.
talk to me and I can't answer, that's fine.
Good Lord.
Drugs, drugged up, heroin and cocaine were a huge problem in Boulder back in the 90s. Absolutely huge.
Wow.
Drugs was.
We got so much information on the heroin and the cocaine. We're like, guys, we're not going down this. We're looking for other information. But
I mean, if I wanted to, I can give you the name of people who will tell you that that they would witness cops putting coke in the back of their truck, in the back of their cars.
Damn.
And,
it's a corrupt town.
It's a corrupt town.
God, we're hearing about this more and more, though.
This is all the media should have been doing this, not us.
Mhm.
I agree.
the sex clubs my brother's referring to, that were these dance studios, and these dance studios had young girls. And what these dance studios were, what they were doing is they were grooming these girls. So when they got older, they would get passed on to the sex club.
Oh my God, sick.
And
That's really sick. Do we happen to know if there was, is it just like a rumor, or is there actual documentation to say that these places have been raided or whatnot?
Raided.
Or
What
whatever.
raided?
However, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, have they ever been swatted, so to speak?
No, I mean, the only reason we even know of this is because of this Russian guy who used to attend, and he reached out to us because he went to the cops to tell them about what was going on with these underground at these underground sex parties, and how the dance studios were like this grooming ground. And now at these sex clubs, at these crazy sex parties, they were starting to use underage girls, like young high school girls. And that's when he was like, no, I can't, I can't, do this. I can't attend to this. And plus, the Russian's girlfriend was like one of the key people in this group. So that's how he knew about the computers, how the prostitution was all done online. And it was, I mean, I go on to describe it in the interview. It was just crazy stuff that they were. I mean, he told me the things that he used to witness, and I'm like, man alive.
Oh, that's my God.
So, yeah. So, oh yeah, he went to the cops to tell him, and they arrested him.
Oh my God.
So
good grief.
And then he asked us to get the reports. And as soon as we started asking questions, somebody blows up his car, and then he took off.
Oh wow!
and that was the end of that.
That'll do it.
It's like the mob. Yeah, that'll do it.
He was upset with us. I'm like, hey man, how do you think we're gonna get the records? I gotta mention your name.
Yeah.
And he goes, they came right after me. I'm like, hey, sorry, man. We didn't mean to jam you up, but
yeah. I mean, not laughing. I mean, that's wild. Right. Didn't know it was going there. Sorry, guys. Jesus. Oh my God.
Did you send them like what's those bouquets of fruit? What are those edible arrangements or something? To apologize?
The edible arrangements. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for your car. Glad you're alive.
Sorry about your car. Here's some blueberries. Knock yourself out.
The pineapple. Yeah. It's the pineapple.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God.
And that's when he stopped going to these clubs, because they would have legitimate parties on the surface, and they're sex clubs, so you know what's going on there. But then they would have these underground parties. And he goes, that's when the craziness would happen. He goes, I stopped going when they started using underage girls.
God almighty, it's like the Rex Uerman shit.
Yeah, and there's no threshold. There's no threshold.
He told me stories. I mean, I asked him, I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you, man? He goes, it's what I was into. There was no limit on violence to the participants.
Yeah, that's sick.
That's another thing. Okay, no limit on violence, underage girls, and you had a murder back in 96. Pedophile, killed a girl. Okay, whatever. But so he stops going, but his girlfriend, he knows all this because his girlfriend is part of it. She's one of the workers. That's how he got involved, because of her. And I still ask him, I'm like, well, who is in this underground thing? And he's like, oh man, it's all run. He goes, the underground parties, it's all like done via computers. The prostitution is run via computers. It's all cyber now. And I'm like, well, how many people are in this club? And he's like, oh, hundreds. I'm like, hundreds? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, who the hell's in it? Like, I mean, give me an idea. He's like, doctors, city officials, plumbers, electricians. He goes, it runs across social lines, social stratospheres. It doesn't matter. It's the no limit on violence, and it's the sex and the drugs. So it's all throughout all the society. So the question is it still ongoing? Well, that was told to us in 2017. So we're sure that that's still going. That's still ongoing. but they are tougher on pedophiles when they arrest them. So, I mean, that's something.
That's a good thing. I mean, pretty much society is different about pedophiles now. So everybody.
It just took Boulder a long time to catch up.
But even then, they just went underground. That's all. You know, violence is still being inflicted upon underage girls in underground sex clubs. That's what this is what the Russian told us.
Yeah, you know, you guys, I would have said you're nuts because I never heard of. I'm gonna sound like my naive self, but I never even knew shit like that existed before I started following the Huerman Gilgo Beach shit. I had no idea that people were that damn freaky.
Oh,
to do, I mean, what the fuck, man? To go through all of, I mean, I'm blown away. Like, I'm not surprised, but I'm still surprised every time I hear it.
I remember the Russian telling me about one night he was there and they set someone on fire.
Good Lord.
Just to do it. So it was like a sex torture thing. It was
like to inflict pain or something.
Yeah, pain, but setting yourself on fire.
Yeah, they're fucking. That is delusional, man.
But then you're using underage girls and you're grooming them from when they're younger.
Yep.
So a lot of wrongdoing going on. So is it still ongoing? Yeah. Just underground.
Pineapple people. Yeah, people are naive because I mean some of this shit was never talked about before.
Once again,
Nikki, the pineapple people. I had to laugh. I laughed
people.
out loud. The pineapple
Can you hear
people.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep getting this notification because I'm outside right now. I keep getting this notification saying my connection's like off, but as long as you can hear me.
Oh. This is kind of a sidebar. We're talking about actually I won't bring it up now. I'll bring it up later. But there's a YouTuber, Mike Urban. He does like Massachusetts. He basically is like an investigation into Massachusetts, and he was talking about how how pedophiles are being let into like Framingham State Prison for all they have to do is say that they identify as a female, and the authorities are so scared to like report the stuff. So these men that are actually have sex crimes that they're literally in prison for that, they go to women's prisons and then they're preying on the prisoners that aren't being held. The whole thing's wild. Like I was watching it and I was like, this can't be real. But then you hear stuff like this and like, yep, nope, that tracks. That tracks that would happen. It's crazy.
Yeah, Ames, are you seeing our chat right now?
I was away. What's wrong?
Read what equality is posted
equal
in our chat.
Hold on. Let's see. More art galleries. How far down? Oh, I was threatened for trying to report too. They got my kids overtime to keep me. Oh, what? It was a local cop who helped the cover up. Equal parts. Vail, ski place, all big highways for dealing drugs, at least Santa Fe. This is crazy. Sorry. Let's see. I had a pedo landlord with secret cams in my daughter's rooms. What? Like these people live among us. He got caught from a different tenant's daughter, but the DA kept everything under wraps. They won't even tell me when the hearings are. Is that even legal? What? Local cop threatened to arrest right away, continued to write reports wrong, and harass me and my kids. Oh my God. Wait, equal parts. Are you in Mass? A local Boston suburb? Is that what that means? That's crazy. I'm so sorry that happened to you. He goes up before a judge in February, but the court schedule is not online for that week. How convenient.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I am so sorry.
Eagle Parts,
yeah,
can you email me? Yeah, that's how your daughter is a minor. I'm gonna assume, even if she isn't, even she should be notified. And if not, if you're the parent, oh, that's right. That's right. It's okay. Now, yes, Kristen, that's right. Your name keeps changing. My bad. Yes.
Oh, I see something that Borealis posted or commented. He said, "Do you think that Colorado higher-ups might have not wanted the case to be prosecuted?" That's our whole
Ames,
point.
I gotta jump off real quick. I'll be right back. My phone is screwing up.
No worries.
we've been saying that since the beginning. That's why we call it the Boulder syndrome. This is bigger than John. JonBenet was a microcosm of what was going on in the town.
Yeah.
And it's
right.
They've been doing their best to shield the town from their secrets coming out. And part of that is making sure the Ramsey case doesn't get solved. They're not willing to look at certain individuals and certain people, and they'll go as far as they can to even cover it up, so it doesn't get to the press. You know, that's why, you know, that's why nobody knows what happened at the church. They covered it up.
Yeah.
We caught them. I mean, our book comes out, everybody's going to know it, and then people are going to have to give answers. I mean, we don't attack just. No, I wouldn't say attack. We don't. When people read the book, they're going to have so many questions, and people are going to ask. They're going to say, wait a second. The district attorney's office has to give a response on why this occurred. The cops are going to have to answer. John Ramsey's going to have to answer. People at the church are going to have to answer. And that's the whole point, is that you have to get people to start asking the correct questions. Yeah. To Borealis's point, of course. Yeah. Of course they don't want it. That's why this case is 30 years in and not an arrest. John Mark Carr does not count.
Right. And unfortunately, we said this on a different episode that we did, that, like, you know, we focus on the JonBenet thing, and as tragic and horrific as it all is, this is a small drop in a really big bucket of sadistic shit with a lot of people involved and a lot of people too scared to say anything, and so on and so forth. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of things were happening to kids. And if you think that this is you think the JonBenet Ramsey case is the only case they botched, when the book comes out, you're going to see it was a pattern. When something that Boulder was trying, they would botch it. The Ramsey case is not the first one. And when you constantly botch cases, it no longer becomes you're inept. If you're trying to bury the truth to things, it's corruption. And that's what Boulder was a corrupt town.
Yeah, absolutely. And it happened, and this is, and if we can just say, we've said this too, it's not just Boulder. This is something that you've just been investigating for so long. This has been your focus, right? But this happens everywhere. This happens everywhere. Oh yeah, ATS News just said Colorado in general is corrupt. I didn't know that. Until I started covering this JonBenet on here, the case, I had no idea what a reputation Colorado had. And then people from Colorado in the chat were in here, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I forget what someone said that there's like a name that they gave Colorado, and it was like, I think it was Wayne. He's not in here today, but yeah." Crazy. And this happens everywhere. It's sad. It's sick.
I mean, I've worked cases all over the country over the last, over so many decades. California, forget it. I mean, Colorado is jacked. Florida, Texas, the Bayou, Louisiana, you have a field day there.
Tennessee,
the Northwest. This is such a prevalent problem. It's unbelievable. And people now have finally woken up to this fact, with all this Epstein stuff, nothing shocks me and my brother, because we were aware of Epstein before he was arrested. We were aware of Epstein like back in, I forget what year that was. But finally, the public is now, it's like watching everybody's head explode because of this information. And you're now finally living in our world. We had to go decades with people calling us insane because we thought, because we were saying sex rings, because we would tell people and they had no idea what the hell a sex ring was. Well, now they get the idea. Right. Now they understand. You know, True Detective was the first thing that made it kind of popular. That first season where people became interested in sex rings, you know, it was based on the LaMonica case in Louisiana. That's how the guy got the idea for the show. And so it gained a little traction there. And now with the Epstein thing, it just exploded. Again, perfect timing for us with our book coming out. I mean, a lot of people can speculate, you know, with these files about you can tie Epstein into almost anybody right now with all the names,
definitely.
files. But with our information, you're going to see the cases. It's not going to be speculation. This happened. This was covered up. This happened. This happened. This happened.
Yeah.
So we got facts. Everybody else has speculation. With our case, we got the facts. But you know, with Epstein and Maxwell, I know Epstein owned property in, I think, Vail, Colorado. But I'm not going to scream his name out in connection with the case. If I find proof, then I will. But that's the thing with, you know, that's the thing I was always told, man. Stick to what you can prove in a court of law.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to try to prove it. You can speculate all you want, but speculation at the end of the day gets you nowhere.
Right. I mean, you know, people like to speculate, especially on the internet, because you know, the kind of fight, going back and forth with ideas. And my thing with the whole. My thing with Epstein, though, what he did for a job and the people that he knew and stuff, it's not far-fetched that he would be in rooms with people named on that list, right? Like it's not far-fetched, and just because he was in the same room with somebody or at a place with somebody. Now, if they're at the island, I'm side-eyeing that island. Okay, if you're taking the Lolita plane to the island, I'm suspicious of you. But if they're like, oh, he was seen skiing in Vail in 1992, it's like, come on, right? It's so. Yeah, there's certain speculation that's like, well, I can't prove it, but
but at the same time, Ames, it's like understandably, I mean, he knew a lot of people. He was very well connected, but why would you want to? Because I mean, it wasn't not known. You know what I mean? Of Epstein, you know, like everybody knew. You know what I mean? Why would you want to keep that company? You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I do. I agree. Well, because he made money, right? Follow the money. Everybody wants money. They're greedy. It's like, you know, I don't care what he does in his personal life. He's going to make me money, because there's people like that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, ugh, gross. It's gross. And if these people did know and support and turned a blind eye, I don't like them either. You know, it's like.
But that's our whole point with Boulder, is that people did know and turned a blind eye.
Exactly.
I mean, when you catch a pedophile, you know, pretty much red-handed with child pornography, and you don't make an arrest, you know, Boston, I bring it up again. Boston went through this, you know, the movie Spotlight, the Boston Archdiocese. They were arresting pedophile priests, bringing them in. DA would come down, smooth everything over. There would be no arraignment, so nobody knew, and then the church would just put the guy in another parish. That's why it got so bad.
Cover it. Yep.
People knew and were covering up. No different in Boston, no different in Boulder, no different anywhere.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even like growing up, I grew up Catholic. I'm Irish Catholic, and you know, there was always like this like undertone of like, you know, when you had to go up to the rectory or something like that, or you had to, you know, even I'm not saying people, but there were nuns or teachers at the time. I only had a couple nuns that would make us go in pairs. Like if we got like sent up there, they're like, no, you're two together. And it's like, was that their way of trying to protect the kids without saying anything? Because that you know, I thought about those things later. You know, you never know, but I thought about that when everything came out. Yeah. Oh, anyway, okay.
that this was the fault of the media. You know, all these stories. First off, the cases. Why didn't the media talk about this? You know, how come nobody? We're 28 years in, and this information is still new to people who follow this case. Even people who follow the case don't know it.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? If you want the ballot affidavits, viewers, go get them. It's out there. You want Jerry Berry's information? Order it. It's all there. All these cases, Downsboro, it's all there. You can look them up and you can get the documentation yourself. Don't take our word for it. This is what was going on in this town, and that's the context. I'm gonna, bring it on back to that. The public opened the book in 1996 into Boulder, but they were looking at the murder. And as we've said, JonBenet, we call it the Boulder syndrome. What is a syndrome? It's a series of symptoms that repeat over and over. We believe JonBenet was just a symptom of what was happening in that town, but somebody got carried away.
I have another question from Nash Native, and I don't know if you guys will know this, but she wants to know why no water or muddy shoe prints on the basement floor if there was snow on the ground. She said they
pay attention to it. It doesn't matter to us. Look at the pineapple. Somebody want to answer that question?
Yeah, they were just discussing that in chat. Like, what? I mean, when have you ever heard that you can't determine a time of death when you have food in the stomach? I mean, based on all of the physical features, I've never heard of them not being able to narrow it down like that.
At the end of the day, everything that was going on in the Ramsey house, you're just going to get lost in the weeds. Because
you got to look outside the four walls.
You have to look to solve this case, because that was we had 3 goals. One was to find a witness. That happened. Then we found a second case. When we get into the writer and what was going on at St. John's, we found the secondary case that involves Ramsey players. It just took us years and years and years to find it, but we did.
And I get it, Nash. Nash is like, evidence is what keeps me up at night. But in this case, the evidence isn't going to get you there, because that's why we've been going in circles with documentary after documentary on the same shit. I mean, the one the other day, I'm just going to say it. It was the same shit regurgitated with a pure focus on that car guy. And I was like, what? Now they're making it look like maybe he did do it.
Oh, yeah. John Mark Carr. I had his writings before he was arrested. Ollie tipped me up and said, hey, Frank, you want to have some fun? You want to try and track this guy?
Well, give some background on Ollie, that Ollie had connections with Interpol.
Oh,
hey, Amy, pause
it
a second, Amy.
His connections.
Sure.
Just listening to that part. Did anybody ever ask themselves, because when you focus on the house, right, it's like we call it, getting lost in the weeds. It's going to get you nowhere, right? Mm-hmm. There were no fingerprints on the ransom note, right?
None.
No fingerprints. Right? Okay. So let's say whoever wrote the note, they used gloves. Okay. What about the parents picking up the note?
Yeah.
Right? That's their story, right? What did they put on gloves?
I was gonna say put on the white glove.
When she first wakes up and walks downstairs.
Yeah, you first wake up, you see the pages on the stairs, they pick them up, right? Where's the fingerprints?
Right.
No fingerprints.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. This thing is designed. I mean, if you could design a case to not be solved, this is how you would do it.
It's almost like they've done this before,
Oh,
yeah, good point.
And you're
Seasoned,
going to learn about some cases that where they did. They botched it, and the public is unaware, but they will soon be aware. And then you're going to see a pattern that's undeniable, and you're going to be like, wait a second. These guys may be onto something. Yeah, we are onto something.
Yeah.
And they're not
You're like,
psychic, ladies and gentlemen. They're not psychic.
Yeah, we're not psychic.
Yeah, because I've played Keno and I've asked for numbers, and I have not won with Frank's Keno numbers. So these are not psychic.
Well, since I now live in a state with Keno, that game sucks. You cannot win.
Yeah.
I tried.
Such a waste of money.
It is an absolute freaking.
I won $450 the other night, though.
How much did you win?
Did you?
$450, yeah. A 5-pull.
Get out of here.
I swear to God. I have pictures, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm useless. I
put $5 in.
I'm too cheap to gamble. I don't know what it is. $5 and $450. Now you're making me want to be Nikki. We might have to do a Foxwoods trip. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Go in the penny machines.
If Frank comes up this way, we're going to the brook. So you're more than welcome to tag along, Eames.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
I do like the crap tables. I have to
Yeah,
say.
he said he's gonna teach me crap. So I'm like, okay. He's like, it's the easiest game.
It is. Once you know it, it's very easy. But anyway,
I love the atmosphere of a casino. The whole
fun.
thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's sketch. Yeah, the whole place of Boulder, Colorado is sketch. The whole thing. The more we're learning. This is kind of side. Even like these people not doing arrests and things like that. The sex crimes are the least prosecuted, or like you get the least amount of time. You could do the most horrific things to a child, and these people
Especially
get slapped
back
on
then.
the wrists. Especially back then.
There was a time where there wasn't even a law against boys being molested.
Wait, what?
Get out of here.
You fathom that? There was no law. There was no law on the books because they didn't think it was. They just didn't.
It was a thing.
They didn't believe it was a thing. Now,
So
a girl, men being attracted to girls, but boys, they were like, no, there's no. Obviously, that's changed over the years.
That's crazy town.
At one point, there was no law. It was
crazy considering like the priests and stuff. Like, I mean,
right?
It's just bonkers.
Those poor kids were targeted. Those were the desired at that point, right?
The altar boys.
That's so sad. Mm-hmm. The altar boys. Yeah.
I always mention a documentary to watch: The Clown and the Candyman. If you
Gacy and
Gacy and that dude and what was his name? Coral, the Candyman down in Texas, and how that and then how that brought in Norman. Bonkers, man, and how Coral in Texas connected to Gacy. It's bonkers.
They all fight each other. Yeah.
Great.
And then the Children of the Snow, right? Or In the Snow.
Children of the Snow. Yeah.
I watched that, by the way.
What'd you think?
I watched it. It was wild. It was wild. Oh my God. It was wild. It was good. If you guys haven't seen it, Nikki put thank you, Nikki. She put both of those in there. If you guys have some spare time, watch both of those. Children in the Snow.
Children in the Snow is on Peacock, correct? I don't have Peacock.
I watched it on YouTube. Actually, I have YouTube Premium. Not sure. I found someone that restreamed it, I think.
Yeah, I wonder if we can play it without getting copyrighted.
Yeah, I think we could if we stopped and talked about it and so on and so forth, and we used not the Peacock version of it.
Right.
We might be able to. It would be interesting to go over for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hold on, let me find my way again. Here we go.
I mean, he was a titan of his industry. He wasn't just he's not a private eye you meet in a Burger King. This guy, you bring down titans of industry with Ali Gray. You want a guy who owns like this huge company worth billions of dollars? Ali Gray's your guy. That's the kind of private eye he was.
Like, remember when we were at his house?
Yeah.
And before we left, he was giving us this stuff. Remember this?
Oh yeah.
The briefcases with recording equipment.
Oh yeah.
This guy had. I mean, it was no joke. He was like, you could use this. This is like recording equipment hidden inside of attaches. I was like, what in the world? This guy had everything.
His wine cellar was bigger than the apartment in which I live. That was in his basement.
Jesus.
I mean, Ali got paid well for what he did. And when it came to Ramsey, Ali was an axeman. Okay, what an axeman does is they were preparing for trial. I think John mentioned that, I guess, during the grand jury. They were prepping to be arrested and, to eventually be going to trial. That's when you bring in somebody like Ali Gray. His job was to get dirt on everybody in that town. Anybody who could possibly testify. Get dirt on him to discredit him. And he did his job extremely well.
And that's why he was able to come up with the 4 child pornography rings so quick that were active.
Within 2 weeks. Yeah, he said it took him 2 weeks to identify 4 separate sex rings operating in the town of Boulder.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's all it took.
Jesus.
But think about it. 4 sex rings operating in the town of Boulder.
That's sick.
It's not
What's
like
the population of Boulder? Do you know offhand?
I mean, back then it was probably 80, 90,000. But then if you remove the college population, it was lower.
That's nuts.
So it wasn't some huge metropolis. Yeah. Does this stuff happen in every city? Yeah. Not like this.
Right.
Not like this. Because when you start protecting people, it's a problem.
Do you guys feel like the truth will ever come out? Completely?
No.
No, never? Even when we're done and gone?
Not until now. No, you know what I mean? Like, not, eventually it has to. Like, hopefully, when you guys get your book out and everything, and people start taking a harder look, and maybe just maybe someone will take an interest that actually has morals and ethics and cares about children, right?
I am
you
like
guys have done for 30
unhealthily
years.
excited about this book. I can't even
Me
explain.
too.
Yeah, even with the
Me
book,
too.
ladies. I mean, the odds of look. I mean, because the house was so, and the evidence in it was so thoroughly contaminated. I mean, shoot, how would you ever bring anybody to trial in this case? Let's say our book brings people out of the woodwork and people give information, which is part of it. You know, it's part of the reason why we're writing it, because we know there are people there that when they read this book, they're going to say, oh, wow, man, finally somebody knows.
Yeah.
And then they're going to come forward, and because it always happens. That's just how it is. They'll come forward, or maybe the book affects some kind of change where it shows malfeasance on the part of the authorities in Boulder, and we can finally maybe the case would finally get ripped away from them and given
my
to
thing
an
is
outside group.
Is like even if this book, right, even if if it comes out, and even if they don't solve this case, like JonBenet Ramsey, we call it the JonBenet Ramsey case because this is what kind of brought you guys to Boulder, and even if they uncover something, arrest somebody, get at least a child predator or two off to jail. So, like, even if people get found out, like, I feel like even if JonBenet's case specifically isn't solved, that it would be in her honor to at least get some of these mofos. You know what I mean? Like, at least get somebody for something.
I feel like one. I'll just go on.
If
sorry, I didn't mute. Sorry.
Yeah.
If we could hold people accountable for their actions, you know, if somebody can get in trouble, maybe a cop gets in trouble, maybe people at the church get in trouble, maybe somebody at the district attorney's office gets in trouble, hey, we'll take it as a win. But to see a trial in the case of JonBenet Ramsey, you ain't never going to see it because it's impossible to prosecute. So
yeah, but it will, because you know, I was talking about the other night at work when you and I were on the phone after you and I got the phone, Frank, and like, even like, you know, like my coworkers, like one of them was like, oh, it was the dad, right? And I'm like, no, it wasn't the dad, it wasn't the mom, it wasn't the brother, like, and there's just so many people that think it was the actual family that did it. You know what I mean? Just to kind of just point it away from them is just huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's another aspect of writing the book, is that it will change. We're hoping to finally start breaking through the narratives that formed very early on.
All the speculations.
And just say, hey, look, you got two options. That's what you were given with this case. The parents did it, or it was a lone crazy pedophile did it. Maybe it was something else. Look
much bigger.
Here. It's a third option for people
much
to
bigger, Amy.
You know, a lot more suspects, corruption. Just to change the narratives would be a win. People being held accountable, a win. It's just but an arrest and a conviction will never happen.
Yeah.
Right.
It will never happen, but it does just put a light on how corruption can just wreak havoc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys in Massachusetts know it very well.
Exactly. Like that.
Oh, we know it very well. Yeah. People thought all of us were wackadoodles in the beginning.
I'll tell you, before like Chili this case, and before like I got like hooked on to you and your brother, like I would have never thought that Boulder would be such a cesspool of this.
Never. I was shocked.
Boulder at I forget what year it was, maybe 98. 97. It was voted the greatest city in America to live.
It
And
sure
then the Bell
was.
brothers just came and kicked
Great.
that door right open.
Hey,
Yeah. like storm busters. Boom.
Yeah.
if we can
Okay.
put a
Johnny.
stain, if we can put a stain on that city that it will never be able to remove, we'll take that as a win too.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen. Yep. Someone actually, so to Elder had a question. She'd like to know when your tentative date of the book will be released.
Well,
Tentatively,
we are hoping for the fall of this year, if everything goes smoothly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll let all of you guys know when we know when the book, and so we can get you guys a link to order it. It'd be awesome.
Yes, yeah, we'll get the link, we'll post it. I am still hoping that I might get a little, behind the curtains peek before some people.
I'm hoping for
which
an audiobook.
Frank knows I'm a vault. I won't get into but I will just, give like my rating, perfect 5 stars,
Right.
I will see what I can do, Nikki.
I'm like, I said to Frank, I go, being your friend has to have a perk. So if you can slide me an early release,
I need something out of this deal. Yeah.
It's good to have a perk somewhere. Yeah.
So
and he's like, well, I'll give you an autograph. I was like, oh, lucky me.
I'm requesting the audiobook. I'm requesting it.
Yeah. Oh God, we need
narrated by you and your brother. Both
the soothing voices.
Yeah, the soothing voice. David Allen Bouzel.
The soothing sounds.
The soothing sounds of the Zell brothers.
Sound of Frank Zell. Yeah, I'll listen to it over and over. Oh, what does it say? I think naming Boulder the safest, best city in the town scheme to get more families and kids there. That would try.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
see, I'm not the only one who else wants an audio book. See, my friend here, Elder, also does. And you want Frank to narrate it with his brother, right?
Yep. Frank and Jim.
Oh, hi, Christine. Yep, all of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know so little of this world. Like I'm learning as I go. It's like I never wrote a book before. I've never been involved in the book making process. So we've been doing this for now like 2 years, over 2 years with this project. And there's still a million things to do in the short time span that we have before the 30th anniversary. It's just a lot. So I'm assuming it becomes an audiobook, but I have no idea how that works. I have no idea who narrates it, if I would be allowed to narrate. I highly doubt the publisher would say, yeah, you're the guy who's going to read it with that accent that people can barely understand.
Oh my God. It gives it the character. You need
it
because like the New Jersey, it comes with like an
Frank,
attitude, right? Part of the
way
accent
to go
is an attitude. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like the attorney Lee Hill, he would be like the guy I would pick because he's done voiceovers. He just has a deep, brooding voice.
Yeah,
very patient and very slow.
Oh,
anyway, that's my choice.
ATS just said that they had Gypsy Rose read her own audiobook. Interesting. Yeah. See, even Aggie loves your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very soothing.
Yeah, I think you could probably opt to have it's very soothing. Oh my God. I got a thing for voices. That's not plus star.
Yeah,
yeah,
I do too.
Rose.
My Audible.
I do.
Audible
I do. I audio.
Yeah.
I got a thing for voices. All right, let's keep going.
When you won't get to the truth in this case probably until all the major case players have died. Hoverstock, who we'll get to, is a key. He's gone.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. Ali Gray said, you expose the church.
Oh yeah.
It'll be like this is him saying it. He said, you expose what went on at the church. It's like a nuclear bomb will go off in Boulder.
Oh yeah.
That's why we say forget the 4 walls. Everything points outside, and the epicenter is the church.
After all we've done, The end game for us is St. John's.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a
That's the
story.
nucleus.
That's the story. That's the story that we were talking about in '97. That if we found that secondary scandal or secondary story other than Ramsey, but yet contains the same players, that's the story. And we caught them. They covered it up.
Yeah. Are we going to get into that in our next part? Or no?
Oh, okay. It's now 11:05. So do you want to do a part 2 or you want us to continue?
Well, I mean,
We are 4 hours in.
we're 4 hours in. Do we want? I mean, are we getting into the church? Is that our next thing?
This is the end game. This is the end of the investigation for us. You know,
We are at the church at this point.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
So
Careful of names. That's what we want to be careful of.
Well, I don't know any names, so you guys.
No,
you're reminding him.
I'm referring to my brother.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't know any of them, so.
We're reminding ourselves.
Yeah,
because litigation is always a possibility.
Yes, I feel you. I know that feeling.
we don't want to get in trouble. We don't want you to get in trouble. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we just need to be careful. You don't happen to have a dump button, do you?
I don't. We are live, like Bill O'Reilly said, right?
Okay, so just to recap briefly. So we have the 3-men poem. We have Stephen Singular got sent to Manchurian Doll. We find out the person who delivered the poems, who took a bus to Denver to mail them, so it couldn't be tracked to Boulder. That was Stephen Miles. Stephen Miles gives us the name of the poem writer. Great. But unfortunately, Lou Smith has died at this point. That would have changed things if he would have been alive, but it didn't work out that way. I come up with a plan. Lee executes the plan and gets the poem writer to talk. Poem writer admits to writing the Manchurian Doll, is too scared to admit to writing the 3-men poem because of legal ramifications. Now, back when I would discuss the poems with Ali, you know what? That's a story I'll tell later. I don't want to tell it out of order. So, a few years ago, well, time's going by so fast now. Several years ago, somebody made a big mistake. Right? In this case, people don't know behind the scenes, everybody was locked into non-disclosure agreements and bad ones. Like Ali, if he would have violated his non-disclosure agreement, he would have been bankrupt. And he was a wealthy guy. That kind of stuff. So that's why Ali, we were working with him, but he could only hint at things or point us in a direction. He couldn't tell us outright information for fear of being in violation. And a lot of other people were locked into non-disclosure agreements too.
You guys bring up so many points that, a lot of us might not even thought of, all these different variables.
We've been doing it for 28 years. We get to go over this a lot.
It's so fascinating.
But so I'm going to skip the Ali story. So eventually we get the poem writer to speak. Oh yeah, and then the mistake. So somebody violated a non-disclosure agreement and released case file information. There is no case file information on the internet, other than interviews, that are put out there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stuff behind the scenes, other aspects. That stuff does not exist. The case file is probably 1 million pages big, maybe even more at this point. It's never been leaked until somebody made a mistake, and they released a tip line call that was made in February of 1997. The person who violated that non-disclosure agreement sent that to somebody. Now, we've been doing this so long, we have a lot of contacts. So that somebody read it and said, holy crap, we got to send this to the Zell brothers. This is exactly what they were talking about. And he sends me these documents. So what it is it's a tip line call made in February of 97. And I don't care about the detectives' names. Detective Kithcart does the interview. And then there's a few pages of Detective Gossage giving a summary. So in this tip line call, so this is right after the murder. This woman calls and wants the Boulder police to know about her brother. It would ease her conscience if she let the police know, because she thinks it would help them in regards to the murder investigation of JonBenet Ramsey. She says her brother is associated with St. John's Church.
Oh, Lord.
Her brother also told her that he knew the Ramsey family well. She goes on to state that her brother had been having sex with her since she was 10 years old, up until the age of she was 16, 17.
Good God.
She does not know if he has stopped doing what he's doing, but she believes that this information could be important in regards to the Ramsey murder investigation. That's what. Okay, so now we have this individual. We know the name, but we're not going to do our best not to say it. Just in case we do, we just want to make it clear, these are all allegations.
Yep.
Allegations. Do we believe them to be true? Yes, we do, but they're allegations. Okay. So this is where I'm going to need your help, Jay. Because now this is when we start breaking down the 3 Men poem.
You want me to pull it back up?
Because this is where true events start coming into place, where it's noted on the poems.
Oh, Lord.
Oh yeah, like these weren't just like poems that high in the sky. You know, these poems were pointing at truth.
Okay.
They were talking about real events that occurred, but they put it in poetic form.
Ooh, I can't wait for this. Okay.
Oh,
just bring up the 3 Men poem, and then we'll get into the church witness.
Ooh, we have a witness there too. Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll get into this poem in a minute. So now we got the poem writer. We got this 3 Men poem. We have this tip line call. And it's the sister pointing the finger at her brother, who's associated with St. John's Church and knows the family well. Okay. Now, once we got this tip line call, and from information we received back when we interviewed the poem writer, the poem writer was always deceptive about the 3 Men poem, like because of the legal ramifications behind it. If they admitted to it, they didn't want to get in trouble, so she was always throwing out names like this person. But there was one name that the person mentioned that I wrote down because she kept backtracking and then bringing the name up, and then she would say, "Oh, I felt so sorry for this person." So I put a little star next to it. So once we got the tip line call, we decided, okay, let's call this individual and try to get this person to talk. So now we're dealing with we got 2 people we're dealing with now. We got the tip line, the sister, we have the poem writer, and now we're looking to add a 3rd individual. So my brother, so we said, we're going to have to ease into this because this is so many years later. Let's ease into it. We don't want to spook this person. So let's try to get our foot in the door by contacting her daughter. Jim, you can explain how that went.
Yeah, I mean, what I recall from the conversation, it was brief, but she was receptive about the phone call. I was telling, I was looking to get in touch with her mom regarding events at St. John's, and she was like, okay. And I mentioned this individual's name, and she said, "It's about time that somebody started asking questions about this individual. It's about time." So, and she said, "Okay, yeah, I will, put you in touch with my mom." With my mom. So we were able to go from the daughter to the mom. But the point was, this individual, they were shocked that nobody ever looked into this person before or asked questions. So we were able to get in touch with the mom. And Frank, I never talked to the mom. You did.
Yeah. Sometimes. So the daughter smooths over the mom to talk to me. Starts to talk about an event that happened at St. John's Church. Just so everybody remembers, this is the Ramsey Church, okay? Reverend Hoverstock, Roland Hoverstock, right? If Fleet White was his best friend, I think John Ramsey wrote in his own book that Reverend Hoverstock was his closest confidant. Just keep this in mind as we go through this story. So she goes on to say that she discovered child pornography on church grounds belonging to this individual that's mentioned in the tip line call. And she starts to get a little nervous. She's like, I notified vestry members, they called the police. And then police showed up, and then she started to get a little hazy. And I said, let me read you something. And could you just scroll up there a little bit, Jay? No, I'm sorry, scroll down. Right. No, go up. Scroll up a little bit more. Right there. Okay. So this woman, who we refer to as the church witness, says that she discovered child pornography on church grounds belonging to this individual, who we do our best not to say. And she says it happened on Good Friday, 1999. And then she started to get a little nervous, and she goes, I don't remember what happened next. And I said, well, let me read you something. And I said, they did not know he changed the key when police would come to query, so they broke and entered quietly, though he would claim illicitly. And so avoiding calumny, a grand sum he was paid to flee, and so it was conveniently their questions he would parry. And she's like, she goes, what the hell was that? And I go, it's a poem. And she's like, that's right. When the cops showed up, this individual had changed the locks on the door and they had to knock it down. And I said, what happened next? And she was like, well, there were vestry members present. She mentioned names, several vestry members, one name in particular that we're not going to mention either. And then the Boulder police removed, in her words, child pornography and other things. And then she started asking about, the poems and, who wrote that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to names to you. And then she was asking, how did we get involved in this? Then I mentioned Ramsey, which I shouldn't have did. And she's like, are you trying to tell me that this could be that tied to that? And I'm like, it's very possible. Yes. And then she gets really nervous and she's like, I think we should end this phone call. And I'm like, that's fine. We can pick it up another time. And then, hey, Jim, just fill the gap here while I get my charger because my battery's running low.
Oh, regarding for some time.
Well, sing a song because I got.
Are you pulling up something regarding that, or
no?
Yeah.
He's charging his phone.
So going back to the.
I'm back.
Okay, all right.
I thought my battery was going to last longer. Pardon me moving stuff as I get to my outlet.
More and more as we break down the poem, it's going to point to just real events that happened at St. John's. And this witness that we found just verifies everything that's a lot of what's in the poems. And the witness was not aware of any poems.
Yeah,
she was blown away by it.
The witness has no idea about the poems at all. But she flipped out when I mentioned could be tied to Ramsey. Now this is so this phone call is taking place when, Jim? Right before COVID, 2018, 2019?
Yeah, 2018 probably.
So I call my brother and I'm like, hey, Jim, she kind of flipped out a little bit. She did verify the one stanza of the poem or part of it. They did not know he changed the key when police would come to query. She said when the police were called, when they got there, the door was locked. The individual had changed the lock, so they had to knock it down.
I mean, so just for the audience, say,
Ames, pause for a second.
That points to a search. We have the witness who verifies the search. How come nobody has ever heard of this search at St. John's? Never heard of it. No one. It's never mentioned anywhere.
As a matter of fact.
Frank, does
Paused.
How do I ask this? Does said names ever get brought out in the book?
That's the plan.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, okay. That's all I wanted to know. Because that's going to be crazy when that happens.
When people learn what happened at the church, people will be like, what the hell? How were they able to keep it from the public?
Right.
Because it was during the firestorm of the case. The first 4 years was just nonstop, man. If you think Karen Reed was big, no, it was not. Not compared to Ramsey back in it. Ramsey was worldwide.
No, also too, does never mind. Never mind. I'll text it to you.
All right.
Do you want me to keep going?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
As a matter of fact, you've heard a lot of names. You've heard stuff about the district attorney's office, plenty of stuff about the cops, different characters in the town. You've heard stuff about the family. Over 28 years, you ever hear anything about St. John's Church? Other than Overstock, the girl, that was the church that they went to. Any stories about the church?
The only story that I've ever heard and I'm not really even clear on what was going on, was that John and Patsy were having a meeting at the church, and that Fleet White like busted in. You guys know about that?
Oh yeah, John Ramsey and Reverend Overstock were having a talk, and Fleet White busted into them and broke up the meeting and started flipping out. What they were talking about, nobody knows, but that event happened. Now, when you get done knowing everything about the church, maybe you can put two and two together. So I called my brother after the phone call. I said, yeah, she kind of verified part of it, but she got nervous and hung up. It may take months, if ever, to get her to talk again. So a couple days later, I'm laying in bed. I'm watching a college football game. Never forget it. I'm laying there in my shirt, jeans, and socks, relaxed, watching football. My phone rings. It's the church witness. And she asked me, she goes, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just watching football. What are you doing? And she's like, I'm having a picnic. It's beautiful out here. I'm in the hills. I'm with my family. I'm at peace. Here's what happened. And she gives me a breakdown of the entire thing. The church witness says that she arrived I'm sorry, that she joined St. John's and was already there and was an esteemed member of St. John's Church. Everybody loved him. Everybody wanted to be near him. Everybody wanted to be his friend. That's the type of individual this guy is. And then she goes on to tell me that the sister that called the tip line call came to the church between the years 92 and 1994 to tell Hoverstock that her brother was a pedophile and what he did to her, and that he had a pedophile in his midst. So he knew about this guy before the Ramsey murder, but yet does nothing. John Ramsey does nothing. In the mid-90s, St. John's Church held what is called a capital campaign. Okay, and this is for everybody to understand how powerful this church is. This is your regular run-of-the-mill church. Extremely wealthy people go here. They attend this church. Not saying anything bad about Supreme Court Gorsuch. I'm just saying that's the type of people, that's the power and wealth.
The caliber, yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
And she tells me about the capital campaign that was run in the mid-90s. They wanted to build some kind of expansion on a building. So she goes on to say that she winds up befriending this individual. And as they're talking, this individual starts to tell the church witness about fantasies he's having of little girls in the church, vile pornographic images that he's drawn, rival acts. She tries to tell him, you can't do
like
this.
What?
This is a sin. What you're doing is a sin. This individual continues to keep telling her about his fantasies, and says, this guy, this is what he's saying. This is what he's showing me. His response, go light a candle. Blows her off. She tries to go to the vestry members, who are the elected officials of the church. They're elected congregants. The congregants have an election every so often, and they elect vestry members who are, they make the decisions. So then she continues. So now, while this is happening, at this point, now the murder happens with JonBenet Ramsey in the middle of this. And then she goes back and on that point. She discovers child pornography belonging to this individual. She alerts
Oh
the
my
vestry
God.
members. They call the police. The police show up, knock down the door. They remove child pornography and other items. Did not give a full description. That's all we could give. So who knows what the hell it was. But child pornography is removed. Now, keep in mind, this is 1999, right? 2.5 years after the murder of JonBenet Ramsey. Everybody's looking for a great suspect. Well, here you go.
This individual. Yeah.
Yep, here you go. And as a matter of fact, he's the only one that meets the criteria. Anybody can think of a better suspect? I'd like to hear it. Because nobody compares. He obviously was one suspect at one time, and they kept it under wraps.
Good Lord.
But anyway, so this is the key part right here. The child pornography is removed by the Boulder police. The individual is removed by the police. No arrest is made.
At all?
I repeat, no arrest is made. Then the vestry members hold an emergency meeting to what do we do with this individual, who, by the way, is also on the vestry. This individual is also a vestry member. So they have a meeting. This vestry member is told he needs to leave the church. He tells the vestry, no.
I just want to point something out that if like it's a special type of sick when he's drawing it. Is that's what I heard, correct? He was sketching out essay of children in the
he was writing stuff, he was drawing stuff. Remember, he's an artist and also
right.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
the church witness is trying to tell him, like, what's wrong with you? I mean, you can't be doing this. You know, it's a sin. And she's trying to talk sense, but he just continued. And he was beloved. I mean, the church witness would tell me, she goes, people revered him in that church. He was revered.
Good grief.
It was like everybody just wanted to hang out with him. Everybody just wanted to be around him because he dressed like a monk.
Oh my God.
And meanwhile, so you have, the church witness, what she's being told by the guy himself. And he's literally showing her things. Then, of course, she finds the church pornography in 99. And then you have the tip line call from the guy's own sister saying, yeah, he was having sex with me. And in that, it's not really a tip line call. She called the tip line, and it's more of an interview. It's a police interview with the tip line caller. And she goes on to, say, that guy had his MO down as a teenager in how to seduce and groom. And he did it to his own sister.
Yeah.
Wow.
So flash forward, decades later, around the time of the murder, who knows what this dude was doing?
Yeah, I mean,
anyway, I'm sure his sister was not the last person. Let's put it. I'm sure he has molested other kids, right?
Especially if he's not getting any repercussions. Like if he's literally brought in, and it's like a license to do whatever you want. And the statistics of the predators that don't get caught or arrested or spending time in jail are astronomically gross.
But it gets even worse because of what the church did, which is what you're going to hear as soon as you hit play.
Okay.
Because they're at the vestry meeting. Seeds to blackmail the church.
Oh my God.
His exact phrase, and this is from the poem writer, who was also there. If I go down, we all go down.
That's what it's all about.
Whatever he had was pretty good because they acquiesce. And they pay him approximately, from what we've been told, $300,000. This individual gets paid off and then leaves the church.
And that would be in the poem.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
See, right here. Go back to the poem, people, and look. So from what you just described, they did not know he changed the key when police would come to query. So they broke and entered quietly, though he would claim illicitly. They knocked down the door. And so avoiding calumny, a grand sum he was paid to flee, And so it was conveniently their questions he would parry. Okay. So he now leaves. Okay. His best friend, the church witness described this man as the individual's best friend, always around, referred to him as a very bad seed. Not a good guy. Didn't attend the church, but was always there with the individual and his wife.
Basically,
After
just
Perry is
like
paid off
muscle.
and leaves.
The
And then
individual, right?
Yeah. What did I say?
Individual.
So individual leaves. Then begins to tell me that the St. John's Church paid her $30,000 to for her to use for therapy because it was.
I'm sorry.
It was so traumatic. Now, I'm taking notes, and she's telling me that, you know, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a terrible ordeal. Yeah, you deserve it. And meanwhile, I'm writing in big letters in my notes, hush money.
For real.
She admitted it. She admitted it. She took $30,000
Wow.
to help with therapy and most likely to keep her mouth shut. And it was shut for 20 years.
And
She
you know,
said-
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was saying this the church witness, when she was describing this individual, you know, showing her images, you know, relaying fantasies to her. Frank, didn't she ask you, well, why would he do such a thing?
Oh,
because,
yeah.
because her daughter was very young, and he was most likely grooming her
Oh Lord.
to see if she was on board.
Yeah, to see if she wanted to play.
Because that seems to have been happening at that church.
So he leaves, he gets paid off, my church gets paid off. The police did a search. The Ramsey case in '99. My church witness said, the whole congregation knew. They were pissed off because they thought they paid the individual campaign. Why didn't the cops arrest him? Sounds like a spotlight move to me. Get him out, don't make an arrest. And that tip line call, by the way, district attorney was on that memo too, so they knew about this individual as well from the beginning, 1997.
Hoverstock lied about this individual, the priest.
Oh yeah, the other documents we have describe the interview with Reverend Hoverstock. Once again, a reminder, close confidant of John Ramsey.
Wow.
He says, I am shocked. This is what he tells the Boulder police. I am shocked to learn of this individual. I do not know him to be a pedophile. I'm shocked to hear of any molestations. I never knew this about him.
Where'd this mofo
She says,
go?
Hoverstock.
Do you know?
No, he left town. But the bottom line is, you got a problem. The district attorney's office knew about him. Nobody ever said nothing. Boulder police got the tip call right after the murder. They catch him. Now, what they did between, they got the tip line call in '97. They brought him in for questioning.
Yeah, this individual they brought in. That's right.
Here's another kicker. He has no alibi for the night of the murder. He says he was at home sleeping with his wife between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. Using your spouse as an alibi is not a good alibi. It's no alibi at all. And considering after he left, after being caught with what he was caught with, the wife didn't leave him, stayed with him, which means one of two things. Either she's the biggest enabler in the history of the world, or she was involved in the stuff he was involved with. And you're telling me that woman is his alibi? And you let him walk out of the room? And they asked him one last question. What do you think should happen to the killer if he's caught? The individual answers, because of my religion, he should be forgiven.
Oh Lord, red flag.
So has no alibi, is a pedophile, according to his sister, got caught with child pornography, got let off the hook by the Boulder police, This is the same Boulder police that everybody's counting on to solve this murder, huh? Good luck.
Good God.
Yeah, I remember
So-
I called another vestry member, and I got her name, and odds are she was the one that actually made the phone call to the police to come regarding this individual and the child pornography to come to the church. And I brought up the name, and she started yelling and screaming at me, saying, "We took care of this. We in the Boulder police, we took care of this." I was like, "Really? You took care of it, huh?" "Well, I'm not talking to you. This has all been taken care of."
Oh,
And hung
good
up.
God.
Wow. Taken care of.
Taken care of. But yet nobody knows about this. Nobody knows about the search. Nobody knows about the child pornography. Nobody knows about this individual. And you know what? As a side note, this individual went to another town. They unleashed a sadistic pedophile to an unsuspecting town
They sure did.
and just let him
And
go
didn't
off
tell
on it
anybody.
and didn't tell a damn soul. So who knows what that dude was doing
That
all
is
those years.
horrible.
Think about the
Keep in
damage.
mind, the sister claims that this individual started having sex with her when she was 10.
What?
He was 16. If you don't know the pathology, it fits perfectly. They start young. And when they have their methodology down and how they like to do things, it just gets worse and worse. They do not stop. The statistics prove this. A woman pedophile, if left unchecked, and by unchecked, I mean there is no legal interference, they're not arrested, will molest between 160 and 170 children in their lifetime. A male with a high sex drive, if left unchecked, 270 to 280 in their lifetime, if they're not caught.
Okay, I'm going to rewind. I want everybody to listen to that again. The
Yeah.
statistics are outrageously disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's listen to that again.
This is when like
170
you
children
just
in their
think
lives, they're not a woman pedophile.
Go ahead. Sorry.
this is when like it just makes you think like you just need a firing squad. You know what I mean? Like
You just need
feed them the bullet.
Mhm.
That's my
Yeah.
thoughts. Not to go dark. And
Yes. 100%.
but-
No, I totally agree with you. Aaron
zero
Spencer
cure
them.
for this
Aaron
shit.
Spencer them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because like Frank just said, like there's no pill for this, right? Like that
Correct.
doesn't
No
stop, right? Doesn't
No.
stop.
No fixing it.
Up to 280 people in their
And that's
lifetime.
just
You know how many people?
person. That's one person.
One person, right? And we're talking about sex rings with tons of people just like them.
Yeah.
So I mean, granted, unfortunately, they're likely abusing the same people, right? We'll go back to Sandra Birchmore. That poor girl got passed around, right? So that each one but still, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of little kids.
Little kids. Not even so much people. They're all usually children.
They're
Concerning
babies.
Birchmore, there's going to be other victims.
Oh,
If you-
100% Frank.
Yeah.
If
I
you do
agree.
proper digging,
Yeah.
Anybody looking into Birchmore, man, you get to her friends
Yeah.
and you'll find
Mhm.
more. It will not, I guarantee it. There had to be others.
Yeah.
I mean, Devine alone or Divine or however the hell you pronounce his name. I mean,
Divine. Yeah.
he didn't it come out? I don't really know the depths of the search of Sandra Birchmore case quite yet. But like the ins and outs, but I know that he used to like go to schools and stuff. He was
And the school resource officer was one of her
Correct.
abusers.
Mhm.
You're gonna
I mean,
tell
you
me
had
that she was the only one?
Right.
Come on.
Everybody freaks out, right? This is one thing that always blows my mind. Epstein. Oh, terrible, terrible. What he was doing was terrible. How do you hide it?
Right.
In the Birchmore case, you got 3 cops. The definition of a sex ring is 2 or more people sexually abusing a child, right?
Mhm.
So you got 3
Mhm.
cops.
Yeah.
That were,
That's right.
that were sexually exploiting this girl.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Then you got the army recruiter. That's 4 people.
And
So I
just grooming her.
You know,
Like
Mhm.
they groomed her for years.
groomed her,
Years.
had sex with her, and then started passing her around
Yeah.
to unknown individuals.
Right.
These are
Right.
cops They took an oath to protect and serve the public. This is what they did. Where's all the protests?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where is it?
Yeah.
Everybody cries about Epstein. Oh, here you got 3 cops. Boom.
Yeah.
Everybody
3
should
cops.
be freaking out. And yet there are
At
people in
least.
this country that never heard of Sandra Birchmore.
Correct.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. There's tons, and there are tons of Sandra Birchmores in this world. There are tons of JonBenet Ramseys that we don't hear about, that don't make the news, that don't make this is not just, these aren't isolated incidents.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not, and it's gross. And and then with Sandra that's one thing that always surprised me, that more people didn't come forward. But maybe now that stuff. But again, Massachusetts is still corrupt, and they still protect their own, and at all costs, even though the new chief over there is doing a better, much better job. People are scared, and it's like,
if you were another victim of these cops, if it was, let's say, Sandra and let's say 3 other girls, now that Sandra's dead, was murdered by Matt Farwell.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the internet is, and how if your name gets out there, it's going to be just out there.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you come forward?
Right.
Why would you come forward?
Cops are involved.
Right.
Who knows who the other unknown people that Sandra was pimped out to?
Right.
If you're one of those other victims and you were part of that, and you know who these other people are, they could be anybody. Are they politicians? Are they town politicians? Are they other cops? Of course, you'd be terrified. You'd be like, all right, Sandra's dead. I'm never going to say another word. I'm keeping my mouth shut. And that's and it's fear.
Yeah.
This is why we've had
and they know that.
And I mean, but look, because it's known that Sandra liked to talk. She liked to brag about her boyfriend, who's a cop, right? And look what happened to her.
Exactly.
Look what happened.
Yeah. So if
God rest her soul, and baby Birchmore, who also, we still don't know whose baby Birchmore really is.
Who's it?
Who he belonged to. Yeah.
And now you have
it's
2
not
options.
him or his identical brother. Right.
Correct.
You have 2 options now. Did Birchmore applying pressure? In essence, I'm not trying to shame the victim, but she played a game that she was not familiar with. She was playing a very dangerous game.
With fire. She trusted them. She was, and that's
I'm
what
going to tell your wife.
Yeah.
Right.
If you follow true crime, that may be one of the top 3 reasons why a husband, will kill his.
Why someone goes postal. Exactly.
They commit a murder. You're going to threaten my family. Okay, I can't have that. And that's what happens. I don't think she understood what she was doing. Or now you have another option.
Neither. I don't.
Maybe the baby's not Farwell. Maybe somebody that Farwell pimped her out to got her pregnant. And that person contacted Farwell and said, hey, I can't have that. Take care of it. And he did it, and he killed her. So there's 2 options now that you have to consider.
Believe that she
make it look like an accident.
People,
make it look like she did it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're having sex, like, I'm not disparaging Sandra because she was a groomed little girl, and she whatever, right? But if you're having sex with 5 different people, but there's like text messages and what she was telling people and everything. She thought the baby was, obviously it was not, but she thought or wanted it to be Matthew Farwell's. And she told him as much. And I believe she told the people that she worked with or her aunt, or she said, my boyfriend, Matt, like, we're having a baby, blah, blah, blah. He's getting divorced or something. And so, a young child who seemed, all accounts of like what people had said about her, she was very immature, didn't, kind of impressionable, and kind of lost.
Had a rough life. She lost
wanted
her
love.
family, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a rough life.
And that's what they go for. They go for the weak.
Yeah.
They go for the people that are easily impressionable. Just not being a kid alone. They go for the ones that have rough childhood.
100%. Yeah. So I think that
And
she was under the assumption that Matt what and as far as I know that she did tell him that he was the father. So whether or not, obviously he was not, but
Yeah,
she did tell people that. Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying anything bad about it. What happened to her was terrible, but when you threaten somebody,
Right.
yeah,
what?
no,
Well, I mean,
no, I
and
get
to me,
exactly what you're saying, Frank. Yeah, she
yeah,
was a threat to them,
yeah,
basically.
you're calling him at his job,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and you're saying,
Right.
and
Right.
people, so most likely Matt
Yeah.
Farwell freaked out
Mm-hmm.
and killed
Mhm.
her because
Yeah.
he was trying,
Oh, yeah.
he kills her and then he goes to the hospital to be with his wife who's giving birth to their child.
Yeah, and to use it as an
Right, yeah.
alibi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, people are
But
like, well, it
They'll
wasn't even
never
his kid,
suspect
but
me.
right, yeah.
But since the
Right.
baby is not his, that now brings
Mhm.
up another option.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it is the correct option. It's just something to think about.
Oh, for sure.
If she was
Yeah.
being picked out to suppose she had sex with somebody else. Somebody else has got to tell me why the Farwell brothers were setting her up with other people and then telling Birchmore, make sure you record your sexual acts with this person. They wanted it.
Sickos. Yeah,
It's
they did.
true. It's
Wait,
one of
did they record?
that's what they told Birchmore to do.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
who has
They
that?
wanted details. Yeah.
So when you do that, it's only one of two. It's only one of two things. Either they would say, okay, they just wanted to watch her have sex with these people. I could, it's just a kink thing. That maybe they were just into that. Or option B, and
Leverage.
it's leverage.
Yeah.
Suppose they were pimping her out to a city official who was married. Now you got blackmail.
Get out of jail free card.
Isn't this what Epstein and Maxwell were doing?
And yeah, in Boulder, it's all the same playbook. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same playbook. I mean, different scenarios, but all the same.
It's an option.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, all in cahoots.
Yeah, birds of a feather
flock together. 100.
If left unchecked, and by unchecked I mean there is no legal interference, they're not arrested, will molest between 160 and 170 children in their lifetime. A male with a high sex drive, if left unchecked, 270 to 280 in their lifetime.
So now
those are my stats. Those are the official stats.
So now let's talk about who was at the Ramsey house. Now let's bring it all together. Who comes to the Ramsey house?
Okay, yeah. Now look at it from a different scope. All right, if you call anybody, we're gonna kill your daughter. Okay, calling the cops is one thing, but then you call Fleet White, accused of being in a sex ring in California. You call John Fernie on the vestry at St. John's. You call Reverend Hoverstock, protecting a pedophile within the church.
Who lied to the police.
Who lied to the police, mind you. And was also John's closest confidant. John Fernie also most likely protecting the same individual because he's on the vestry, he would know about him. They come to the house. So just look at the church connections now. John and Patsy, St. John's. JonBenet, St. John's. Fernie, both of them, John and Barbara, St. John's. When Patsy is taken away from the home and they stay, whose house did she go? Whose house does she stay at? John Fernie's. When she gets drugged to oblivion, he may have even been at the house too. Who's the one that drugged her? Not any of the cancer doctors, the many cancer doctors that she had, that she easily could have got a prescription from them. She calls the pediatrician, Dr. Francis Booth.
That's weird too.
And he drugs her to oblivion. You want to hazard a guess at what church he went to?
Oh no.
St. John's. So you see how this is starting to look a little different when you have the proper context?
And once again, and then you look at the three men that are mentioned in the poem. This individual is mentioned, and then two others that are mentioned. Now, we just confirmed through the church witness that verifies the poem writer, what she put down on the other names be right. Why wouldn't the rest of the poem of what she's talking about be correct?
It's true.
3 men chose to end her. It paints a different picture. And Ali Gray was, he was always pointing at the church. Always pointing at the church.
Now I can tell that Ali story. When we were talking about the church and we were talking about this individual, Ali said to me, it wasn't just him. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, there were others that were into the same thing he was into. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, are you talking about Reverend Overstock? He was doing stuff to kids? Ali said no. But he was trying to keep a lid on it. He was trying to protect the church and keep the information in the house. Ali, we kind of settled on the number that there were 3 to 4 other pedophiles at St. John's. And Ali couldn't give me the names because of the stupid non-disclosure agreement. So he said, he goes, think of the people that pay the bills. And then he stopped talking about it. So I said, damn, what are the, back then I'm like, who the hell are the people that pay the bills? And then once we learned all this stuff, it's the vestry members. They're literally the ones that pay the bills for the church.
Makes sense.
So you have this individual and 3 to 4 others that we don't have the names to. That's why this individual's blackmail attempt worked.
We could go. The individual also had an awareness of the Ramsey home. Do we want to go down that road, or?
Well, this is going to be interesting.
I'm not going to say how we know,
because John has said himself that it's somebody that knew his house. So I'm interested in this.
Well, for starters, Mervyn Pugh did work at the house. That's for starters. This individual was put at the house 2 weeks before the murder. But yet nobody knows about us.
Strange.
JonBenet used to spend time in this individual's house. Wrap your head around that. So you have a pedophile. Okay, anybody out there, name me a better suspect. Here you have a pedophile caught with child pornography, was at the house 2 weeks before the murder, and JonBenet Ramsey used to spend time in this individual's home. Anybody match that? Can anybody top that? Mike Helgoth, Gary Oliva, all these silly names that they regurgitate year after year to keep the public guessing. But yet not this guy. I will say again, he was the #1 suspect in the murder of JonBenet Ramsey, and they kept it under wraps. Now it's the DNA. Now you can bring up the 2016 report. And I guess after this we can end it.
All right, let me pull that up. Hold up.
I knew this was going to be a long one.
It's great. This is great.
But yeah, it's so frustrating. It's like nobody touches this stuff, and it's just like documentary after documentary after documentary, and it's like the same rehashed information. You know how many reporters we got in touch with to get this information into the public's hands? We had some good leads over the years. Always falls. No, at the end, nobody wants to touch it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the mainstream media is not going to touch this.
Well, if you want to get to the truth,
they should.
Well, they should, but we all know how they roll.
We have contacted editors of newspapers across this country. I don't know how.
Hundreds, thousands.
Everybody wants this case solved, though, right?
Well, here you go.
It's a good avenue to look at. No one ever.
I have a question for you. Were any of these people, any of the 3 men at the White's party?
That's a good question.
We don't know.
Very good question.
Ali used to say something to me almost every time we talked, which was a lot, over 14 years. He always said this one thing over and over. Now, remember, Ali couldn't tell me stuff in a non-disclosure agreements. We would always hint to stuff. He hinted. He's the one that pushed us to look at the church. Is to figure out who knew who in the town. Who knew who? Who did John Ramsey know that the public isn't aware of? Who did Fleet White know? Who did the individual know in the town? Did he know Fleet White? I don't know. Good question. But since this guy is like off limits to talk about, once again, I mean, the Netflix documentary, what was that? 2 parts, 3 parts? Anybody hear anything of what we're talking about tonight in that documentary? None. No.
Not a mention of
Except for this, though. The last 15 minutes or so, This actually flashed on the screen, like this article, I believe. And this came out in 2016. And everybody just kind of like blew it off. And when you read it, you're going to understand what you're dealing with this case. So everybody, it's the DNA, right? See, John Ramsey's got nothing to lose. It's a win-win. Remember, public relations always has been. It's about getting the public on your side. In the beginning, it was the Ramseys. They're guilty, they're guilty, they're guilty. But then Keenan of Ballard fame and other ridiculous plea bargain fame issues this apology saying, oh, because of the DNA, we know you guys didn't do it. We're so sorry. Ridiculous. The Ramseys should not be removed from the umbrella of suspicion, along with everybody else. Again, we don't think they committed the act. We just think they were involved and know who did. Anyway, just read this article. It's not that long. DNA in doubt, a closer look at the JonBenet Ramsey case. So there's some snippets from the article. In fact, those experts said the evidence showed that the DNA samples recovered from the Long Johns came from at least 2 people, in addition to JonBenet. Not 1, 2. Something that Mary Keenan, or her married name, Mary Lacey's office, was told, according to documents obtained by 9 News and the camera, but that she made no mention of this when she cleared the Ramseys. The presence of a third-person genetic marker has never before been publicly revealed. Additionally, the independent expert raised the possibility that the original DNA sample recovered from JonBenet's underwear, long used to identify or exclude potential suspects, could be a composite and not that of a single individual. It's a rather obvious point, but I mean, if you're looking for someone that doesn't exist because it's actually several people, it's a problem, said Troy Id, a former U.S. attorney for Colorado.
Oh, man.
So all the smoke that they've been blowing up everybody's rear for all these years, the DNA, we were right. We told everybody, keep waiting for a DNA hit. That ain't never going to come.
I got it.
They're still on with this narrative. I just had to stop and say this. Like, they're still on with this DNA narrative. Like, as of a couple of weeks ago, they're still on it.
They will always, because that's all the public knows, and that's it. And they're always going to stick with it because it works for them, right? Because people just hear DNA and they go, oh, okay, just test, just do genealogy and go test somebody's cousin. If you have a composite of several different people, it's considered a contaminated source of DNA, and not not because it can't be used, because you'll be chasing a ghost.
Right.
You're not going to be able to find a relative.
Yeah.
Do we know what type of DNA it was? I don't want to get how, but is it three separate sperm? Is it just because there's different types of.
There's so much DNA because when you go into the touch DNA, right? Touch DNA is easily transferable, right? So you got touch DNA everywhere. And like read James Kollar's book, right? If maybe I can bring that up. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Let me see. In that chapter.
Yeah, Equals just said production companies are too lazy to go beyond a Google search. Yeah,
it's terrible.
Oh, they just didn't want to know. Yeah.
Hold on, if I can find this, it will give you a great example of like why this case is not going to be solved. And James Kollar mentioned it in the book. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so botched. It was like botched on purpose. So this result was always going to be the result.
Okay, I found it. All right.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind the 3 Men poem as you go down and you leave the St. John stuff stanzas and you go down. It's talking about multiple people being involved in her death, right? Not one person. Okay, so
people.
This is from James Kollar's book. And I start now. Quote, knowing the history of Mary Lacey's announcements, I should not have been surprised when DA investigator Andy Harita shed further light on touch DNA test results during the cold case task force meeting held in February 2009. as a side note, now this is not Kolar, this is me. I was told that there was a problem with the DNA back in like 2005, 2006 by Ali Gray. You know, which just made me further cemented that this was not going to be a DNA case that was going to solve it. Okay, back to Kolar's book. I had supervised Harita during my stint as chief investigator at the DA's office, and it was my opinion that he had a promising future ahead of him. He had no experience as a police officer, but he was an extremely intelligent young man. He looked decidedly dejected as he delivered the news about the additional DNA test results. Harita confirmed, I lost my place. Harita confirmed the public announcements Lacey had made about matching DNA found in the leggings worn by JonBenet. He went on to report, however, that additional samples of trace male DNA had been discovered on the cord used in the wrist bindings and the garrote that had killed JonBenet.
Good grief.
These touch DNA samples were genetically unique from one another and were believed to belong to different individuals. It took several months for this information to be absorbed by the cadre of law enforcement experts filling the room before one of the female laboratory technicians voiced her observation. It went something like this. Are you telling me, based on trace touch DNA testing results, that we are now looking at 6 different people being involved in the murder? Harita reluctantly nodded his head. We collectively recapped the DNA evidence that had been analyzed in this investigation, and it included the following. Trace DNA samples collected from beneath JonBenet's fingernails of both hands during autopsy. There have been trace DNA samples collected beneath her left fingernails during autopsy that belonged to an unidentified male. Trace DNA samples collected from beneath her right fingernail during autopsy that belonged to another unidentified male and a female. There had been trace DNA samples located in the crotch and waistband of her underwear that belonged to an unidentified male. This became known as distal stain 007-2. The new technology of touch DNA identified trace samples in the waistband of the leggings that matched unidentified male DNA, distal stain 007-2 in the underwear. The new technology of touch DNA had located another sample of DNA located on the wrist bindings that belonged to a different unidentified male. New technology of touch DNA had located another sample of DNA located on the garrote that belonged to yet another unidentified male. By our count, we were looking at 6 separate, independent DNA
Ames,
samples.
mute your screen, Ames, because it's just the background noise.
Sorry. By our count, we were looking at 6 separate and independent DNA samples that belonged to unknown individuals, comprising a group that consisted of 5 males and 1 female. That's the end of the quote.
Gross.
You hear that? You still think you're going to get a DNA hit, huh? Still think that's going to solve the case?
Come on.
It ain't going to happen.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Hate to...
And they're still shoveling it in everyone's face. They're still doing it.
People don't even know about the 2016 report.
Yeah, that's crazy, Frank.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So there you go.
Frank, is that your background noise or is it Amy's?
I don't.
We have groceries being put away.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Amy. I was like, Amy, mute your butt mute. No, you're good. You're good. Okay. Oh my god.
All right, I'm gonna continue.
And just 2 days ago, John Ramsey was like, "Do your damn job and test that DNA."
See, he got nothing to lose.
No, he doesn't.
Because it's a win-win. If his DNA is on her long johns, yeah, I dressed it. Or it's on the garrote, that was Patsy's paintbrush. Right. Everything can be excluded because they're the parents. So you can screen that and get the public on your side all you want. It's not going to work.
How about the DA investigator? What was his name? Hirota? That talked about the DNA found on JonBenet when he was looking at it, and they said under her right fingernail was DNA of an unidentified male. On the other hand was DNA of another unidentified male.
Like
On the
what?
wrist markings, there was unidentified DNA of another male. 3 separate unidentified males. On the undergarments, underwear, 2 more unidentified males and a female. So you have total of 5 separate unidentified male DNA on Ramsey and 1 female. And this is what and this is what he said. He goes, that would be a big problem.
Yeah. We've been saying this since 1997. Multiple perpetrators were involved. We've been saying this since 1997. Everybody thought we were insane.
No sense out of anything I've heard.
John and Patsy in their best at their signature. Yeah. People, when the focus is on you, you can wear a mask.
Yeah.
But it's the people that you surround yourself with. When the focus isn't on them, that you can find things out about you.
Right.
It's an old adage. You're just JonBenet's pageant photographer that was talked about. We got tipped off about him in the 90s. Nobody would listen. He was a pedophile. So now, while there's John, let's look who he surrounded himself with and put his daughter in their sphere. Okay. Right. Fleet White in California.
Okay, before you move on from Fleet, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, so did the police ever go back to the White's house to do any investigation, look in the house, see if there was any signs of anything happening there?
I would say extremely doubtful, because the Boulder police have bent over for this man so many times. You know how many times the Boulder Police Department has exonerated Fleet White in being involved in this murder? 5 times, maybe 6. Why?
Why so many times?
Why? How about this? When the Rams,
I was just going to say, why would you have to exclude someone more than once, let alone 5 to 6 times? That's like the Twilight Zone.
What's just a big red fucking flag right there. Like, hey,
yeah,
nothing to see here, nothing to see here.
Yeah, the definition of it. Crazy.
Yeah.
Ramsey indictments came out. It was big news. Holy cow, they really were indicted. Boulder Police Department holds a press conference. Oh, okay, let's see what they got to say. Okay, Fleet White had nothing to do with this murder. Thank you.
Unbelievable, man.
The indictments come out. You're talking about they've been bending over backwards for this guy. Yeah. Lou Smith told me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if I ever got information on Fleet White, to let him know immediately.
Okay, fine.
I want to talk to Fleet White's daughter, who was playing beads with them.
Good luck. Good luck.
Daphne, if you're listening, I'd love to talk to you.
Jay, there are ancillary stories that we are not telling because, that's just us saying it.
Right.
Like, it's just a story, right? But, you can think, we have no reason to lie. Right?
Right.
There are so many stories out there that we're not sharing with you because they're ancillary, and it's just us that are telling you. So it's just, he said. But Frank, you want to this is real. Frank, do you want to share the Fleet White with the private investigator? Or do you want to go down there?
Oh, I want to hear it.
Okay, but
I want to hear anything Fleet White.
All right.
Okay, so there's actually 2 stories in this regard, but we'll do mine first. So I got hurt on the job at UPS. I was given a small settlement, and this was about, I don't know, 2002, somewhere around there. I can't remember, but somewhere around 2002. So I'm like, all right, I got some money to blow. I've spent so much money on this case over 28 years. I don't even like to think of the number. But anyway, so I said, all right, I'm gonna get to the bottom. Lou Smith asked me. Fleet White has a time frame of about 8 to 9 years that's missing from his timeline. It's as if he does not exist on planet Earth.
Oh Lord!
Nobody can find it. Nobody. Lou asked. Hell, Ollie couldn't find it. So that only leaves you with 1 or 2 answers. Either he was in some kind of, maybe 3. Maybe he was in an asylum somewhere, or he joined a monastery somewhere. Highly doubtful. Or he worked for the government. Those are your only 3 options to describe that missing time frame where there's nothing there. But anyway, so Lou always made that a big thing. He's like, Frank, you ever get any wind on his? I remember this is Lou Smith asking me.
I was going to say he couldn't even find anything. Like,
no, there was no proper. Here, this is a good example. early on. So let's say right when I first got in touch with Lou, I was working with several other people, and we did a background check on Fleet. Nothing too crazy, deeper than your average one, but the results, you got multiple social security numbers, but that happens. PO boxes in weird places, different states. Weird, but nothing terrible. Nothing to explain that missing time gap. And just little things. So we create this thing called the white paper. That's what we called it. And the goal was to give it to Lou. So I said, Lou, I got something coming your eye. We did a background check on Fleet. Here you go. A few days go by. Lou calls me back. And he says, Frank, he goes, that white report was tremendous. I'm like, oh, thanks, Lou. Appreciate it. He's like, do you mind if I share that with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation? And I'm like, well, you can do whatever you want with it. We sent it to you. I said, but why are you sharing it with them? I said, what's the big deal? I said, it was just like a slightly above average background check. And he's like, oh, you don't understand. They never conducted a background check on Fleetway.
Wow.
He was never investigated.
The last place they were at before going home that night that she quote unquote slept in the car from and never woke up, right? Because John said he carried her upstairs. She never woke up.
Not only did they not investigate, they didn't even do a background check. To where my white report is being circulated among the Colorado Bureau of Investigation because it's got background on Fleet, basic background, because nobody ever did anything.
Weird.
And Lou
Make it
always said,
make sense.
When I tell you no proper investigation was done,
Exactly.
no proper
Make it make
investigation was
sense.
done. And this is an example of that.
Pitiful.
This guy, he's untouchable. Untouchable. Why? That's a good question. So
Where is Fleet White now? Is he still in
I think
Boulder?
somewhere in the area. If he's not in Boulder, he's not too far. But to go back to the private investigator. So I decided to get to the bottom of this, and I'm going to hire a private investigator, and not a top of the line one like Ali. I'm talking about. I actually met him in a Burger King. He's one of those, kind of sloppy, but this is how they work. You meet them, you give them money. They tell you got to give me this much up front. Then a few days go by, they're going to ask you for more money, saying, "Oh yeah, we need more money to continue to work." And then that's how it works. It's almost like a scam, but they're going to give you information. So I meet with this guy. He's like, "All right, so who are you digging this up on?" And I go, "Fleet White." He goes, "Who the hell is that?" I'm like, "It's stuff to do with the Ramsey case." And he's like, he was at the house, he owned the house where the girl was at, and they had the party the night she died, and he was there. And he's like, all right, he goes, it's your money. He goes, so it's going to cost I forget how much it was, $1,000 up front. He goes, we're going to get you everything. I go, you got to do me a favor. He's missing a timeline of about 8 to 9 years. I need this to be thorough from cradle to now. Every school, I need these years that he's missing. I need that filled in. He goes, oh, yeah. Don't worry about it. And he goes, and don't worry, because this is how we operate. You're going to remain anonymous. Nothing that I do will come back to you. So you be rest assured there. And I'm like, okay, great. So takes the money and he leaves. So I go home, a couple days go by, just like I thought would happen. I get a call. Hey, we started working. We're going to need another couple $1,000. Sure thing. Then a few days go by and I get another phone call. And it's a private investigator. And he says, I need you to meet me at the Burger King. I'm like, yeah, okay. Hangs up. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, this is the end. He's going to give me what he's got. And maybe I can get some answers. So we sit down. And I'm looking at him. And he goes, here. He gives me all my money back. And he goes, count it. It's all there, which I did. And it was all there. That is unheard of in the PI world. Once you pay a private investigator to do something, there ain't no refunds. They don't find anything. You're not getting money back.
Right.
So for this to happen is highly unusual. He goes, he hands me the money back. He goes, count it. I counted it. It was all there. He goes, you need to walk away from this. You need to stop. And I'm just looking at him like, what? I go, did you even do any work? And he's like, oh yeah, we did work. He goes, remember when I told you that you get to remain anonymous? And I take all the heat. And I said, yeah. He goes, He goes, this will all come back on you. So you need to stop, take your money. I never did any work and we never met. Got up and left.
Weird.
Now, what did he see?
Huh?
Yeah, what did he find?
Now, what did he see? Exactly. What did he see?
He didn't go into it.
He didn't go into
Right,
it.
he didn't want to touch it, whatever it was.
Whatever it was, scared the daylights out of him. So I call Steve Singular. I tell him this story. And then he winds up relaying to me that he had a friend in the Justice Department. Now, we weren't doing this together. This is, we just at times would think the same ideas because we were working kind of like the same angle. And he had his friend in the Justice Department type Fleet White's name in the computers and see what popped up. To quote Steve, his friend ran away from the computer terminal.
What?
When the information came up on Fleet, he ran away from the computer.
God sakes.
What exactly it was, we don't know, but it scared the lights out of Justice Department. And so
They scared the Justice Department? Like, what? What? That's wild. Crazy. Like, was anyone else just kind of like taken aback? Like, this is so powerful that they even scared the DOJ?
Right.
What?
Well, because they're just, yeah. Yeah. But presumed guilty is, I just want to, for those who are maybe jumping in or just listening to now. So the book is called Presumed Guilty from Steve and Joyce Singular. And you have to get the 2016 copy version of it, though. Right, Frank?
Mm-hmm.
It was like
The most updated.
Yeah, the updated version, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon.
I'll try to get the link to it on Amazon. Put it in chat while we.
Well, I looked. So you could be. I looked at it for it. I was on the phone with Frank, and I'm like, wait, it was like
one of many
$60 or something like that. I'm like, $60 for a book. Frank's like, well, no.
Can you put it on an Audible? Yeah,
that's the original book. The 2016 was made for Kindle.
Kindle, yeah.
So it's the 2016.
Yeah, I was like, $60 for a book, Frank? He's like, what? What are you looking?
Right.
The 2016 E version. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
The E version. Yeah.
The E version. Okay. I'll try to find it and put the link
Kindle,
in.
the Kindle book. Yeah.
Kindle. Fantastic. All right, kids. We're in the home stretch.
One of many just side ancillary stories that we usually don't talk about.
I love the stories. We should have you guys back and do story time.
There's a million of them.
I find it
we didn't talk about, Frank. Did we talk about
See, Jay even likes your voice, Frank. See, she's like, I would love for you to come back and talk to me. She knew.
Yep.
She's so full.
Well, she didn't say soothing. No.
We talked about that Lee Smith believed and Ollie believed that it was
Oh my God, but that's what she meant. I could tell in her tone.
he was taken. And that JonBenet could have been actually posted online.
And Ollie said that they believe that there were pictures taken of her during the time of her death. Remember, this is John Ramsey's private investigator. So whatever he knows, John knows. He's paying him. And this is what he's telling me.
And Frank, we didn't touch on Wonderland or Orchid.
We're not gonna go into all
Wonderland.
It's
Orchid was
Will you guys come back for like a follow-up?
Sure, we can do that.
Yep.
Yay!
Sure.
I love the stories. I can't get enough. I know a lot of people in chat were like, I've been on the edge of my seat. I've never seen 400 people in here and the chat moves so slow.
I would actually just want to say we're going to be wrapping this up this to today. Next week for part 13, I was thinking about either going over the Children in the Snow or the Wonderland, because I have started to dig into that a little bit, and it's definitely worth a show or two. So that's
Wonderland.
Didn't
you guys investigate that too, Frank? You and Jim?
No, we didn't get involved in Wonderland. The only reason was Ollie was hinting about stuff that he had found, and he wouldn't tell me on the phone. And he was like, just think of Northern California, Oregon. And I'm like, and I call my brother. I'm like, hey man, Ollie wants us to find something. He just doesn't want to mention it. He wants us to find it on our own. And my brother found it. And Jim, my brother's like, oh, he's talking about Orchid. And Orchid, that happened in 96. And that was, we call that like when the pedos went online, So in Orchid, it was a group of guys. They were using their own kids, neighbors' kids, and they were live streaming the abuse to play all over the United States. And you could watch the abuse in live time. And if you were a paying member, you could pay and type in what you wanted to watch them do to the kid.
If that doesn't make you physically ill, I don't know
Right.
what would.
Exactly.
So the FBI busts that up, and one of the guys talked, and he was part of another group that was much worse and much bigger, and that was the Wonderland Club. I think you had to have like 100,000 pornographic images of kids to even get into the group.
Like what? Collateral. They're like, no, we
Yeah.
need to make sure that you're legit. You better be pass those over.
And that's exactly how
cannot.
they got their members. They were like,
Mhm.
no law enforcement person would have that kind of cachet of pornographic images.
Yeah,
And
just sickos.
so the Orchid group fell. The one guy ratted out Wonderland. That became a bigger thing. But for Ramsey, we didn't know why Ali wanted us to figure out Orchid. So when we told him, "Oh, you're talking about Orchid," he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Did they not get everybody?" He's like, "Correct." I'm like, "Did some of them wind up in Boulder?" He's like, "Yes."
Wow. Would that be something you'd be willing to go over with us just as a panelist and we can discuss it? We can talk about it after. We don't want to talk about it online, but yeah, that's something that I'd like to cover, whether you'd feel comfortable being on panel or not. That's definitely something I want to get, especially where it connects into JonBenet Ramsey. It would be just more information. The more information, the more knowledge people have, the bigger picture they can look at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let's keep going.
And that's how I know people are listening. Because when they're chatting away, they're not really, hearing it, but I can tell. What did Fleet White do as a profession in Boulder? Is he an oil guy?
Oil rich.
Oil man.
I'm an oil man.
And then John sells his company to Lockheed, which is a whole nother rabbit hole.
I mean, look, sometimes you're judged by the company you keep. His best friend is accused of being in a sex ring in California. That's Fleet. His daughter's pageant photographer is a pedophile in Randy Simons. People out there, how many of you know someone that's been accused of being in a child sex ring? How many?
Not me.
I'm gonna guess none. How many of you know somebody that's protecting or covering for a pedophile? I'm gonna guess none. So it does happen on occasion that you find out you think you knew somebody and you were wrong, and oh my goodness, it's a pedophile. But to have 7 people?
Yeah.
And not only that, how many people you're friends with major cocaine distributors?
Oh, we won't even go into that.
7 close people.
Wow, you guys have a lot.
There's a million stories.
A million stories. But to continue, so this is who he surrounded himself with and his family. Fleet White, accused of being in a child sex ring. Randy Simons, a pedophile, arrested for his daughter's pageant photographer, who winds up later down the line being arrested for downloading child porn. His closest confidant, Holverstock, is protecting a pedophile in the church. John Fernie most likely knew and most likely also was protecting the same pedophile in said church. And Bill McReynolds, the 1974 story, right?
No.
About Santa Bill?
Mm-mm.
Bill McReynolds, in 1974, Bill McReynolds' daughter was abducted along with her friend, and Santa Bill's daughter was forced to watch her friend be sexually molested.
Oh my God, yes, I did hear about that.
And then, of course, defying all odds, they're both released. No arrests ever made. And that's Santa Bill. And there's other things in his background, too. But this is what you surrounded yourself with. You're going to tell me that's an accident? You're going to tell me that's coincidence? You're going to tell me that's bad luck? Bad luck is knowing 1, not all 5. So tell me again, he's as innocent as the driven snow.
Once again, go back to the grand jury report, right?
Grand jury.
So I was reading that Fleet actually sued to get the grand jury indictment released. I just saw like a headline, but it's an old article. It was behind a paywall.
Yeah, he may have tried, but
why though?
These guys are playing a game of chicken with each other. That's the only way I can think.
Yeah, because he testified in front of the grand jury. So why would he sue for them to release that indictment?
I don't know. How about they just do the right thing and they release all 18 pages and let the public see for themselves?
For real.
Lift the lifetime gag order. It's been 25 years. Let who's alive speak freely. Please.
See, don't you think though, if John wanted that maybe he could get somewhere with that? He doesn't want that though.
It only got released because of a lawsuit. Did John file a lawsuit to get it released? No. Daily Camera did. And it worked.
What about the Steins? Someone just asked about the Steins.
What about them?
So they stopped there after leaving the Whites to drop off gifts. and JonBenet was sleeping.
In the car, never came in. So
the Steins didn't see her.
Nope. You have to rely solely on John and Patsy's story.
Yeah, that's what's messed up.
And you got to rely on Fleet's story that nothing happened, everything was fine. How can you rely on everybody's untrustworthy at this point?
Right.
The media failed spectacularly. If this stuff with the church would have came out in 1999, that church would have been destroyed instantly. But yet they were able to cover it up. Two warring institutions, right? District Attorney, Boulder Police Department. They've been at odds with each other in how to solve this murder since the beginning. They hate the cops. Cops hate them. Cops have accused the DA of sharing information with the Ramseys, bending over backwards to protect the Ramseys. And the cops have been accused of ineptness. I think it's more that some instances they got left out to dry by the DA's office, but that's another story. But yet, when it comes to that individual at the church, both the DA and the district attorney, both the district attorney's office and the Boulder Police Department work together to cover that up. That's a fact. And you're going to
keep
the attorney's office and this Boulder Police Department to solve the murder of this girl when they covered for a pedophile at St. John's?
Not a chance.
Why? Not a chance. It ain't going to happen. Why did they do it? I don't know. Protect the church.
Protect people. That's why they always do it. That's why they always cover the shit up.
Protect certain people of wealth. Why was that attorney allowed to throw sex parties for 20 years? Everybody knew. Something like that, maybe. And hence we go back to the question. It's not about who killed JonBenet. Wrong question. Ask what was going on in the town before the murder, and then ask, did that have anything to do with JonBenet's death? And is that why this case is not solved today? Those are the questions. You answer those fully, and ask who. We're just providing context. Now you know. What did Paul Harvey used to say, Jim?
And now you know the rest of the story.
Now you may look at the case and see if what we said maybe fills in some gaps. Everybody says the same thing. Describe the Ramsey case. Strange, weird, nothing makes sense. Hopefully, what we've told you will now at least answer the question why things are so strange, why things are so bizarre, why people have acted in a certain way. At least fill in some of those gaps. But the DNA, stop hoping.
Yeah, I don't think that DNA is going to do shit.
And Jim, we didn't even get into John Rossi, man.
Oh my goodness, dude.
The Connecticut connection, crazy. But maybe we can do that another time.
Yeah, I definitely want to have you guys back if you'd be willing to come back on.
Sure.
You guys have been awesome. I can't even tell you, I don't know why you're not more, because you laid it out so well. All this research you've done, all this information, and you managed in 5 hours to make it all make sense. Thank you so much. Great job. Seriously.
Thanks, Jay.
Appreciate it.
Amen. What an amazing interview you have done with Jay. I mean, so thorough. And you've been on with us and kind of filling in context, which we greatly appreciate having you here. You're wonderful. We'd like to keep having you back if you're available, because I want to continue down this rabbit hole that is Boulder, Colorado, just destroying.
Yes. Frank, quick question.
Yes.
How did you guys, because I know that you guys were the ones that led Lauren to the Utah stuff. Is that linked to Boulder somehow, some way?
It's the Utah thing was, I think I sent you all the.
You sent me, I've yet to read them because it's been a crazy week. But
I know. It's like I said, it's not. It looks like a lot, but it
was a lot. I just kept looking, and it was like ding, ding, ding. You're just sending me just files.
Well, I told you I was going to, because we were covering things as it was happening live, right?
Yeah.
So when we got involved with Utah County,
Ames, Utah is the Utah, the cult there, the one that Lauren Conlon did.
Yeah, that is that's what you would call if you're talking about that satanic ritual abuse case.
Yeah.
And it's a bomb. It's a horrible one.
I texted Lauren because she told me to watch the first video and then read the 52 page. I have yet to do that because it's crazy.
Boy.
When I first heard cannibalism of a small child, my heart stopped. I couldn't believe just hearing that as a phrase. I mean,
that's wait till you read it. I mean, Conlon is, pretty, she does true crime. She's pretty hard, and that stunned her.
Yeah,
I sent
she
her
said she told me she had to take breaks. She was crying, like she said it was very hard to get through.
I've been doing this for decades. That is one of the worst ones.
Oh God, yeah.
And when you read how we were covering it in the blog, you can see the cover up happen in lifetime because we were covering it as events were happening.
Oh God, Frank.
And the emails I sent you, Nikki, they're not like pages and pages. It's just like a paragraph that we would post as soon as it happened. It's like a few sentences.
I haven't even checked into them yet because it's just
it is bonkers what goes on in the Mormon Church, man. The history of the Mormon Church.
Ugh.
This goes back.
Yeah.
Like there's blood. There's like relationships. Like names are important in that church because it goes back to like Joseph Smith and them settling out in Utah. Like you're talking 1800s type of stuff.
Yeah,
and what
yeah.
they do with Indian kids, it's
they call those people the pioneers.
Yeah.
Well, they were doing
They're
stuff with
sickos.
Indian children. I can tell you that. But yeah, no connection to Ramsey. It was just something that, like I said, that we get involved with cases. Like we had sources. My brother took the lead. So like, if you ever cover Utah County, you'd be interviewing my brother because he was the head guy.
Yeah.
We had sources inside the police department. We got sources at the district attorney's office in Utah County. We had sources at the state attorney level.
Yeah.
Willing to talk. It was crazy. And then we realized this case is not going to go nowhere because of the connections.
Mm-hmm.
Like they made an arrest finally, and even that got screwed up. Well, I think he's out, and there's not going to be a prosecution just because of who he knows and who he's connected.
It's so sick.
Right.
It's
so sick that it's so sick.
It's prominent people that are.
Wait till you read it. It is amazing.
Yeah.
I've never read a victim statement like it because it's so detailed.
Yeah. Now, who is it? It's from the daughters, correct?
Yeah, it's this guy, David Hamblin.
Yeah, it's his daughter that wrote the victim.
His daughters came forward, and this was back in the 90s.
Mm.
But they didn't proceed, and then Sheriff Mike Smith got more information, and then he came out to the public asking for help, and that's when we noticed it. And then we got involved, and then our sources were like freaking top notch, man.
Yeah. Lauren said she was going to follow. She's like, oh, you just kind of reminded me. She's going to do a follow-up of the case as it is today.
I mean, picture the most vile stuff in the Epstein email. Like, there's some crazy, if you haven't read a lot of the Epstein files.
I have not. I've not read
some crazy stuff in there, man.
Yeah.
Tearing babies apart. You're going to see some of that stuff in Utah County, man. Like, Utah County was brutal.
I'm telling you what and this is why churches like just put bad tastes in people's mouths. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a Christian. My mother was raised very strict Catholic. She kind of got out of it for other reasons, personal reasons. Just because it's just so strict. But it's just like, you do unfortunately get the sickest of sick people that just try to use the Lord as like a cover. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm saved, or, like.
I remember being like, when I was younger,
this is, a lot of them are all kind of just link around churches, and it's wild.
My mother always used to be like, you see that guy over there? He's an asshole all
Amy,
week.
I can't hear you.
Because he come.
Frank,
you can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, let me jump in and jump out real quick. I can't hear you.
Okay. Being Irish Catholic, like we always had this like understate, like my mom or whoever would be like, yeah, that guy right there, he abuses his wife and he's a shithead, but he thinks because he goes to church on Sunday and goes to confession that it's all wiped out, he can just has a clean slate to be a dick the rest of the week. And I remember her saying that. Like, there's literally people that think just because they go And this is just this one specific incident that like I remember hearing that people often think that they can do whatever they want, they can be deviants, and then they go to church on Sunday and all's absolved, and everything they did the week before is all, and now it's a clean slate to just continue to be the POS that they are, right? That's what I always heard growing up. Yeah.
See, now Mormonism, like, people are very touchy-feely. I'm a Christian. I love to debate the Mormons when they come in. They'll ask me my beliefs. They'll be like, yeah, man, we believe the same thing. I'm like, no, we do not believe
No, we don't.
Well, Lauren described it. She said the church, she called it the Church of Satan. And I texted her, I said, that gave me chills. And she's like, well, that's basically how I view it as. And I'm
when you read this woman, when you read what she said and how these people traveled out of state, they moved in groups. They were like a satanic coven using the Mormon church as a shield.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and
that's
not to mention,
they use churches as shields, and this is what gives churches bad names for good people that go to believe in faith, not just use it as like a cover up, like a front, you know.
Well, and the Mormons also they preach the Bible, Jesus Christ, all this, whatever, but they hardly ever mention the Book of Mormon that Joseph Smith wrote, who was a polygamist marrying young girls as young as 11. And he was into some like dark magic stuff. I forget what they call it really, but it came to fruition. He tried other things like L. Ron Hubbard with Scientology. He tried other things and then landed on the Book of Mormon, and the story is bizarre. I mean, not to the LDS, but it's a bizarre story. And the Book of Mormon is where all of the crazy beliefs that can turn or will turn people radical to do it's an excuse. Like, it's like, well, Vallow. The Book of Mormon says it. Yeah.
At the end of the day, with Mormons, and this is where I always get them when they come in, because they say, yeah, man, we believe in the same Bible. You know, they bring out their Bible and they'll quote their passage and they'll say Jesus Christ is their savior, and I'm like, hey, yeah, same thing. And then I ask them, what happens when you die?
Right.
And that's when they shut up.
Yeah.
And they go, and they're like, no. I'm like, yeah. No. This is important, because as a Christian, when you die, you get to be in the glory of God.
Right.
That's it. Just to be in God's presence is your eternal reward. Mormons believe a whole nother other thing, which changes it.
As far as I know, they don't actually believe in hell, right?
Well,
they don't believe.
This is where they differ from Christians. They believe that they will become gods themselves, gods of their own planets.
Wait,
that is bonkers, man.
Yeah, that's what they believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a second. So you believe that the God of the Bible says you shall not have any God before me is going to make you a god?
Right.
I'm like, does that make any sense?
In their own universe,
and
you're locked in still to your family.
They do stuff here to achieve that.
Yeah, goals.
So when you talk about Joseph Smith and black magic, there's a history that we had to learn about what they were doing when they were coming out west. They believed like in taking in Indian children. And this was, and they were taking in all these kids. There's no protection for these children. They were just adopting them. They were buying them, and they still do it to this day. They'll do it with orphanages. And there's a whole thing with the district attorney out there in Utah County doing strange things in adopting of his children.
Yeah.
He's named as one of the abusers in that indictment. It is crazy. But anyway, to answer your question,
we'll have to get into that. But that's
no connection to Ramsey.
Yeah. There's no connection to Ramsey. Right. So we will have to get into that. Kind of was what I was wondering, Frank, if we could link it, into this whole Ramsey stuff, kind of like, you know, the children in the snow and stuff. But
I tried to connect to Ramsey. You know, I tried to connect Ramsey to a bunch of stuff. It is what it is, man. I focus on Boulder. You don't need to link it to anything else.
Right.
There's enough craziness.
Yeah.
If you ever want to do Utah County, I'm telling you, man, bring Warren Collin on.
Oh, I absolutely will. Yeah.
And actually, Kresha from Difficult Research, she's a wealth of knowledge with all of that too. We could have a creator panel and go. I mean, kind of bind all of our minds together, because in my belief of what I know from listening to Lauren and to Kresha and to all the content. It all does some way, shape, form. It might not go directly to JonBenet. It might not be completely, all cohesive, but there is a lot of crossover and interlap with the sadistic shit that happens with children, especially. So I think it'd be super interesting. Yeah. All right. So we will be back next Sunday at 10 a.m. kids. If I can get my act together, definitely it's 10 o'clock roughly.
10-ish.
10-ish. And I would love to have you guys back if you're available. We can go over. I'm going to see if you guys have any suggestions to Frank. If you have anything that you think that it would be great to go over and discuss, love to have suggestions. Anybody with this type of content that you would like us to review and talk about, you can send it to unsolvedamyboston@gmail.com. But yeah, we'll be back here, part 12 for the unsolved case of JonBenet Ramsey. And we will see you on the next one, kids.
Thanks
for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Frank.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Amy.